Thursday, try to get our bodies adjusted. We can leave Saturday and then just get on the early thing, or we can do this. Chuck Noll said, I really don't care what time we leave. I don't care what time the plane leaves. Just make sure Joe Green's on it. So I don't care what time the plane leaves. Just make sure Zach Martin's on it.
Well, I got an airplane story, too.
Oh, bring it.
Cowboys are playing in San Diego. And it's back and forth. It's 1 million to 900,000. And the Cowboys win barely, and they get on the airplane, and Ralph Neely, the great tackle, sits back in the – Wally Nichols was the pilot. He sits back in the back of the plane. He says, Wally, get this thing off the ground before they score again.
I hadn't heard that one, but I love that.
Yeah. And one more thing.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to my son, Paul, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Paul, happy birthday,
tomorrow.
Paul.
This one's for you, son. Cowboys beat the Jets 30-10. Zach, Bryan, have fun.
This has been a production of the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
All rights of this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written permission of the Dallas Cowboys is prohibited.
Today's game on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network was brought to you by
Luke Casey, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Pepsi Zero Sugar, made for Cowboys watching. And by Neuron, your all-new 22-volt cordless platform from Hilti.
Today's game was also brought to you by
Ford, your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Luke Casey, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of Cowboys fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they make just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great Dallas Cowboys seats.
The big game is here. It's the new Cowboys scratch ticket from the Texas Lottery. Play today for your chance to win up to $100,000 instantly. Or enter for a chance to win Dallas Cowboys VIP experiences like Draft Day War Room packages, season tickets, and much more. Make every day game day with the new Cowboys scratch ticket. Dallas Cowboys Football Club Limited. Visit TexasLottery.com for odds. Must be 18 or older to participate. Play responsibly.
People will always come and go in our lives, but we all know those few who never left. The ones who make you stronger, build you up when you're broken down. The partners who've always had you covered. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, we know what it means to be there, guiding you toward a healthier state of mind. Because the more we know as individuals, the healthier we all feel as a community through it all.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
This is the Dallas Cowboys Pepsi Postgame Show. Pepsi, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, here's Zach Wolchuk and Bryan Broaddus.
2nd and 10. Snap to Wilson. Carson's coming up the middle, flushed him out, running right, throws on the run, intercepted, flag is down, Kearse has it at the 45, Kearse to the 30, Kearse to the 25, Kearse to the 20, and Dwayne Brown throws him down in about the 15.
The Dallas Cowboys are 2-0, 30-10. They knock off the New York Jets here at AT&T Stadium. They've now outscored their opponents, both New York teams, 70-10 in their first two games. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus here at the Miller Lite Club. Of course, we'll have your head coach Mike McCarthy get his thoughts after the win. Dak Prescott, your calls and texts as well. 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053 to join the victory party after a 2-0 start to the 2023 season, Brian.
Yeah, it was, in some ways, it was outstanding with the rhythm that Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott showed in this football game. My favorite statistician, Bob Thomas, sent me a stat that said Dak completed his first 13 in a row and finished with his last 7 in a row.
Nice.
So good job of Dak Prescott putting that thing together today. Mike, I felt like, again, the rhythm, things that, you needed, the creativity, we'll get into some of those. The one-man screens, there were a lot of little things, a lot of little wrinkles I thought that the Cowboys showed today that were kind of unique that maybe we didn't see Sunday night because of the weather and then also because of how much they were ahead. But, Zach, we're going to have to get into, I should say, defense for what they had to do today, outstanding. We all worried about all week, running the football. They're going to run the football down your throat kind of thing. No, they did a great job of just choking that run. The offense scoring points helped them, enabled them to force Zach Wilson to have to throw the football. We saw the turnovers. But like I said, we're going to have to get into Cowboy red zone offense at some point in time in this thing, and maybe later on in the show. But there were some trips down there that a lot of field goals today, but they could have put a real hurt on the Jets today.
They could have
if they wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Brandon Aubrey. I mean, what a bright spot he was. 5 for 5 today for Aubrey. He is the fourth Cowboys rookie kicker to make at least 5 field goals in a game, joining Dan Bailey, Richie Cunningham, among others there. And he's the first to do it since Dan Bailey. And he's made more kicks than any other kicker other than Dan Bailey, who made 6 in a game against Washington several years ago. But you're right, the red zone offense certainly something we can discuss, but you brought up a great point. I mean, we considered after the first drive last week against the Giants, okay, if there was one issue, and the Cowboys certainly forced the Giants to be one-dimensional, Jets can run the football.
They can.
Breece Hall looked really good a week ago against Buffalo. They certainly have Dalvin Cook. Zach Wilson, his ability with his legs. The Cowboys hold the Jets to 64 yards rushing, 36 of which was Zach Wilson, mostly on that final drive offensively there. But Breece Hall, he's a guy that was a non-factor in this one.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook didn't really do much at all on the ground. You had 9 yards for Hall, 7 yards for Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, it was an outstanding job. They did when the Cowboys, the front seven, was just fabulous when it came to getting off the football. We saw early in the very first play what happened. They shift Tank to the other side. He's playing as the right end. Normally he plays as the left end. Little adjustment by Dan Quinn and the defensive coaches to make that. So all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, well, hey, maybe they're not going to run the ball at Tank. Well, you put him to the other side, and they're going to think like, oh, well, they're going to run the ball to the left. Sure enough, what they do first play, ran the ball to the left. Tank beats the tight end up the field, -4. That really set the tone for how things were going to show up for the Jets today. I was really worried, like I said. Offensive line, not very mobile, but big. Worried about them leaning on the Cowboys a little bit in this game. Van Der Esch, everybody stepped up and did a really nice job. Osa Odigizua, the way he is turning into a fabulous player for your Dallas Cowboys and the way that he's getting things done. So hats off to the defensive line and the way that they are able to play this game this afternoon.
We talked about it back at training camp in Oxnard. The breakout season for Osa Odigizua is loading, and certainly he has had a great start to this season. Micah Parsons, how many different ways can you impact the game, sir? Literally ripping the ball away from Dalvin Cook. I thought it was deja vu from a year ago against Chicago, where he picks it up, runs it for a touchdown. Everyone's thinking, oh my gosh, was he down? He was ruled down by contact. Doesn't take away the impressive nature of the play there. Kirsch with an interception. Malik Hooker with an interception. Trayvon Diggs joining the party with an interception. This team looking to lead the league defensively and with turnovers forced 3 consecutive years in a row. Unheard of in the National Football League. Dan Quinn right now, you could give him a game ball every single week the way he's running things.
I'll tell you what, though, they where the game plan has come together for the Cowboys, and it really, they just go out and they use everybody that they have available that's going to dress. Hey, great, some really nice coverage. I mean, we hadn't seen Jordan Lewis in a long time.
Yeah.
Third down play, ball goes, we get pressure inside, ball's coming, routes coming inside. There's Jordan Lewis in position, defend the pass, third down, get off the field. That's what Dan Quinn and this crew has been able to do. They've just found a way to be able to say, hey, whoever's dressing today, you got to roll. Whether it's 5 plays, 6 plays, 40 plays. Everybody's going to have an opportunity, and they've done a great job. The pressure was on this defensive line this week because everybody felt that the only way the Jets could win this football game was if they ran the ball. And the Cowboys took that personally. That first drive of the game against the Giants, that seems like a distant memory now, the way that the Cowboys play run defense in this game today.
Taking a note from Coach Prime there, it's personal, and they certainly made it personal.
Sure
they absolutely did, and they answered the call there with their run defense, the pressure as well. You noted it, Micah, again. The Lion is always hungry with a couple of sacks for him. And offensively, you talk about the variety of players they used on that side of the ball.
Right.
The different formations, right? The personnel changes. You had Rico Dowdle was a big factor on the ground.
He was.
Deuce Vaughn had a couple of drives that were just him, and the one screen was absolutely beautiful to him as well. And then Tony Pollard continues to show the burst there. Certainly you would have liked to see more execution inside the red zone. Jets do have, just a tip of the cap, one of the best red zone defenses in football.
They really do.
That is certainly an area we're coming into the next week when you're playing against better football teams and it's not a multi-double-digit lead, you're going to need to turn those field goals into touchdowns.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And I mentioned about Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coaches, what they're able to do today. And, the red zone stuff, got to go back. And I'm sure, the media here waiting to talk to Mike McCarthy, if you're going to nitpick something with him today, I'm sure the questions about the red zone will come up. And maybe if not, make sure you listen to our shows all week. And we'll talk to Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Mike McCarthy, and we'll try and get those things answered. But I thought there was some really some neat creativity. Now, down the goal line, the handoff.
Was it the Hendershot?
The Hendershot handoff. Yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, we're getting maybe a little cute there. But I tell you what, though, the one-man screen where they threw the ball out to Rico Dowdle and they used Hunter Lipke as a one-man blocker out there. So everything said, instead of using offensive linemen, then they've got the opportunity with the one-man screen, one-man route over there to get that done. So good job there. And then also, too, the thing, they faked the wheel route right there, with Deuce Vaughn. And they faked the wheel route to Deuce Vaughn, and now that draws people to Deuce. But all of a sudden, what happens? They hit CeeDee Lamb right in the hole. So, for a 21-yard gain. So some really creativity. Hey, I'm going to mess with your eyes a little bit, and then I'm going to try and throw the ball over here or run the ball over here. Mike McCarthy and his crew was able to capitalize a couple different times and take the Jets in another direction there.
CeeDee Lamb was brilliant today. 11 catches, 143 yards. He was also open, it seemed like on a corner route that I'm sure Dak will go back and see, darn it, I could have thrown it. It was the play, he tried to throw it to Ferguson, who was also open, just kind of overshot him. CD ran a great route, was wide open on the other side of the end zone there, but he was a problem today, and you didn't get the one-on-one matchup I think we were all hoping to see with Sauce Gardner against CeeDee Lamb. I think I saw the NFL tweeted out, is Sauce Gardner overrated? Well, if you watch the game, it wasn't Sauce covering CD, right? It was a lot on Michael Gallup, but credit to the Cowboys as well. And something you alluded to in the pregame show. You moved CeeDee Lamb around.
Right.
You lined him up in the slot a lot, and you can already tell the difference just based on some of those formations, some of those bunches that we highlighted in the preseason, the separation. Separation was an issue last year for this offense under Kellen Moore. This year, how many of those passes that Dak was throwing to CeeDee Lamb was there nobody around him, and he had about 3 to 5 yards before the next defender was nearby?
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. I'll tell you what, we saw some vintage CeeDee Lamb with, I think, and you talk about, you kind of made a joke a little bit about Deion Sanders and it's personal. I think CeeDee Lamb realizing that Brandon Cooks was out of the lineup today, and we're going to talk about some young kids, and we're going to talk about how Tolbert was able to play today on the big stage and did a really nice job there. But I think Lamb took it a little personal with Sauce, and this crew, that you have to deal with, DJ Reed and all week long. This team can cover. They can do this. They can do that kind of thing. But no, I mean, CD, he did a great job in this game. Dak had him. But I'll say this, though. Early in that game, I was watching where they were putting – they would go trips to one side, 3 wide receivers one side. They put him like tight slot, and so they were trying to kind of feel some matchups. What were the Giants, what were the Jets going to do in order to try and take him out of the game? Were they going to travel someone with him? Mm-hmm. Were they going to play him straight up? And once the Cowboys kind of figured out how the Jets were going to play him, then they could call their plays off that, and they did a great job of manipulating offense. The pass that he caught, the long one, the quick slant, went for a big play. The one Broaddus recovers the fumble downfield.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the kind of play that I'm like, go back, Kellen Moore, and watch what he did at Oklahoma. That's that Oklahoma play. That's CeeDee Lamb catching the ball at 7 yards and then taking that thing like 31. And then finishing the way he did.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the time of release. How long did it take Dak to get the ball out of his
hands?
He
had time today. That was not a problem.
He had a lot of time, but that certainly
was not a problem.
Something. No, the offensive line was great. Only 1 sack given up against a really good, stout front. And I think, when you're shuffling things, getting T.J. Bass in there with Adoga getting hurt, and then Zach Martin, who I think is going to be fine. We saw him come out for the victory formation, and he walked with Tony Pollard. I saw some video to the locker room. Hopefully no issue there with Zach Martin. You had Awesome Richards come in late in that game as well. Offensive line did well, but it's clear with Mike McCarthy, let's go get the ball out quick, get it out to Tony Pollard, get it out to Deuce Vaughn, CeeDee Lamb, to your playmakers, let them get the yards after the catch. Certainly the first 2 weeks, it's worked well, and secondary-wise, you bring up the matchups. Stephon Gilmore lined up a lot on Garrett Wilson. He gave up that one play. Yeah. Malik Hooker certainly had an opportunity. He's your last line of defense there.
Got to make that tackle.
You got to get him on the ground.
You got to get him on the ground.
It was the one big play the Jets had all game. But overall, Stephon Gilmore was your leading tackler from this one. And Garrett Wilson, who was certainly the one guy that could really hurt you down the field, limited to 2 catches, 83 yards, 68 of it came on that one play.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup, and as long as the Cowboy offense continued to score, it put the Jets in a bad spot with Zach Wilson and having to make throws.
No doubt.
Their offensive line was, Dwayne Brown, he is going to be so happy to take a shower, get on the bus, get on the plane, and fly back to New York or New Jersey, because Micah Parsons took him all over the map today. Outside rush, inside swim move, that was – Micah Parsons is so dangerous now. Body armor and knowledge. Talking to Andrew Whitworth, guys like that, how to rush, how to break offensive linemen down. Don't just go straight into him. He fights their hands, but Micah did a great job. I mean, there were so many times today where these tackles didn't even get their hands on him the way that he was rushing.
So fast. And
that first sack was amazing how quickly he got in there.
That stunt inside.
Osa
he created it much like the opposite of last week, right?
Osa did a great job of handling the 3 inside. He was able to get such a push on Tomlinson, and what it did was you now have the center and Tomlinson going backwards, and it just created a lane that Micah came perfectly off the backside there of Osa, and then right there's Zach Wilson standing in the pocket. It happened before Zach Wilson even knew what was going on.
It was incredible. 30-10, Cowboys get the win over the Jets. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus here in the Miller Lite Club. Of course, we'll hear from CeeDee Lamb with our buddy Chris Arnold. Of course, we got Coach McCarthy. Postgame show brought to you by Pepsi, made for Cowboys watching. Did see this. Our friend Jane Slater reporting that sources tell her Zach Martin came out as a precautionary measure after he rolled his left ankle. Nothing to worry about. He should be fine. So that's great news.
Well, there was a couple of times there where his old buddy Tyron Smith was pointing to the bench like, hey, get somebody in here, and the Cowboys are already down. I mean, you were down to really Awesome Richards having to play in this game, which he did. But, Zach, he is not going to sit there and come out of the game if he doesn't have to. And In this case, though, they were able to, with the change of possession, get him off the field and then make it work.
Two guys I want to give some love to. Rico Dowdle, excellent job in pass protection. A couple of those times, the Cowboys started 8 of 10 on third down today. They were excellent offensively. A lot of that was blitz, pickup, pass protection from Rico Dowdle. He was brilliant in that aspect. And then you brought up the play Tyler Broaddus made, trailing downfield about 30 yards almost, similar to last week, recovers that fumble to keep a drive alive. I mean, this is something not a lot of offensive linemen are doing that, following the play as closely, and then Johnny on the spot having the awareness to just fall on that football.
Well, this is where, as a former offensive lineman, and not one at an NFL level, but, high school and collegiately there at LSU, you're taught when the ball goes, when the ball's gone, you cover the play. Like, cover, everybody's yelling cover. And you start down the field because you don't know what's going to happen. And Tyler Broaddus, 2 games in a row, he has been the guy that's been right there, ball on the ground. The official, Clete Blakeman, he says, ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by, give Tyler Broaddus 2 helmet stickers. Yeah. One for last week recovering a fumble, and this week he gets another helmet sticker for jumping on a loose ball.
How about this? I just saw this from ESPN Stats and Info. Cowboys have scored 70 points and allowed 10 so far through 2 games. They're the 5th team in the Super Bowl era to score 70 points and allow 10 or fewer in the last 2 games of a season. The others, 2019 New England Patriots, and then we're going way back, the 1970 Lions, the 67 Raiders, and the 66 Houston Oilers. Pretty incredible.
That 66
there.
Houston Oilers team, I think that was like a George Blanda team. Probably AFL and around there at that time, right?
I'm going to trust you on that one.
Yeah.
One born just
I think
yet.
we were AFL, and that would be a George Blanda team. I think I probably saw that Raiders team play, too. I was 4 years old.
You were probably there.
Maybe Daryl LaMonica was throwing it around for that Raider bunch.
He might have been running around.
Cliff Branch and others, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, that is an impressive nugget. Is the Cowboys certainly looking like one of the best teams in the National Football League through the first 2 weeks. And your quarterback, Dak Prescott, didn't have to do much a week ago. Today, 31 of 38. 255 yards, a couple of touchdowns, but again, how about the big goose egg in the interception column, Bryan Broaddus?
I'll tell you what, though, he's done so much of a better job, and I knew in this game with the way that this Jets secondary was that you had to be committed. You had to know where you were going to go with the football today, and when Dak gets in trouble, he tries to try and create something that might not be there. I think he got fortunate on one, or there was Sauce Gardner had him along the sideline that would end up being a drop.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, man, he was pinpoint with his passes. The touch was good where he needed. But again, we'll get into that whole red zone thing because they wasted, I feel like, some trips long. Nice to get the field goals. With the way that the Jets were playing offensively, field goals were just fine today. But you're going to play somebody down the road, a San Francisco or somebody that when you get down in that red zone, you've got to punish them when you're down there.
And an important win. Everybody in the NFC East won today. The Giants rallied to get a win over Arizona, 31-28. And then you had Houston come back to beat Denver as well.
The Commanders.
The Commanders, yes, came back to beat Denver 35-33 as that one just went final. And then Thursday night, Eagles getting the victory over the Vikings. So the Eagles and the Cowboys atop the NFC East at 2-0. The Giants and the Commanders now at 1-1. Giants rallying to beat the Cowboys' next opponent, the Arizona Cardinals.
Is the Commanders 2-0?
The Commanders are 2-0. Excuse me, you're right. They got that win last week.
Yeah,
they sure did. So a big road win there for both of those teams, and the Cowboys getting the victory today as well. Okay, we'll hear from Coach McCarthy. We got Dak Prescott. Of course, we'll have Brad Sham, our Cowboys insider, Bobby Belt. A lot to get to as the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys rolls on live from the Miller Lite Club. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame.
of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time.
All right, Prescott is under center on 1st and 12 at his own 3. Back to throw it out of the end zone. Slant to Lamb. First down, 20. Broke a tackle, 25. Broke another 30. 34, ball came out, and Broaddus down the field again to recover the fumble.
Cowboys get the win, 30-10. Today's game between the New York Jets and the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium, brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi Zero Sugar, made for Cowboys watching, and WinStar, home to over 8,500 of your favorite electronic games, more than 1,000 table game seats, and 1,400 luxury hotel rooms. It's always a good time at a WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones, after this one, saying that he does not think the injuries to Zach Martin with the ankle or Chuma Edoga with the elbow are serious, so that's great news. Cowboys also hopeful to get Tyler Smith back maybe as early as next week against Arizona. And this defense, 10 points with 10 sacks and 7 takeaways in the first 2 games of the season, on a historic pace right now. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus here in the Miller Lite Club at AT&T Stadium after a Cowboys win. I mean, Bryan, I don't know if there's enough positive things to say about this Cowboys defense. Look, it's 2 games. It's a small sample size, but what Dan Quinn's been building here over the last several years, the sky is the limit for this group.
Well, the one thing that we've always talked about, especially really since Dan Quinn's been here, is every year this defense has gotten better. And every year they've added more to the defense. And then you add the knowledge and the physical makeup of a guy like Micah Parsons, and you draft a guy like Osa Odigizua, and he becomes this up-the-field 3 technique that's helping others get sacks. He's playing the run. You got a veteran like Tank Lawrence who shifts sides from one left side to the right side, gives the Jets a little bit different look. Oh, wait, they're running the ball over here. Boom, tackle for loss. You know, Deron Bland, 5th-round pick from Fresno State. Somebody out in the Pac-12 missed him scouting. He should have been playing at Colorado or UCLA or one of those places. You know, they've just done a great job of putting pieces together. Marquise Bell, opportunity. He gets in. He's got like 3 tackles in 4 or 5 plays. These guys it's like when they watch the tape the next day, it's Dan's pointing out, okay, this was good. And it's kind of like the players are taking it upon themselves to like, hey, the reason why this worked, the reason why this pass was incomplete was because of, not just what's happening at the point of attack, but is it a blitz? Is it somebody carrying blockers? Is it somebody carrying a route? They are just playing some really nice, disciplined football, and it's clearly shown. Not to say that, hey, I'm going to be real honest here. I'm glad that Aaron Rodgers didn't play in this game today. That's just me. I know Babe and I were talking about it in the pregame. He's the boogeyman to me, especially in this ball yard. He's the boogeyman. And I didn't need to see him reading and, oh, you want to play, get your best. No, hey, trust me. Football players and coaches don't always think like that. If people are out, it's okay. We'll move on. Don't feel sorry for me. We're going to the next game. So that's somebody else's problem after this one.
I'll co-sign that one with you, my friend. Look, I get sometimes you do want to play against the best.
They say that all the time.
I haven't had more nightmares from a player than Aaron Rodgers when it comes to just ripping my Cowboys fan heart out of my body and soul. He's been a menace, certainly in this building, to your point as well, where he also won a Super Bowl with Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy.
He's a nightmare to defend because there's always something with him. There's always, and the Cowboys played well enough on offense today, with putting up points and all that. But, Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys that just magically, when he plays, he finds ways. The game last year in Green Bay, what do? They find a way to run the ball. They beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys go away from their game plan, end up losing the game. I've seen too many times where, there hasn't been that many games where David Irving has shown up at Lambeau Field and just wrecked shop, in like 12 to 15 plays.
Yeah, we got to go back to 2016, Dak's rookie year.
That's his rookie year.
My goodness.
Trust me, I'm sorry if you're a New York Jets fan driving home or driving to the airport, hey, good luck next week against New England. Beat them up a little bit if you can, because that'll help the Cowboys the following week.
No doubt. We have so much player audio to get to. We also want to hear from you, 877-881-1053 on the phones or via text as well. We'll hear from Dak Prescott coming up, but after this 30-10 win, Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy took the podium. What did your winning football coach have to say about this one?
Can you just talk about the efficiency of your offensive effort and just your playmaking ability on defense tonight, kind of what that meant?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think just like anything, when start of the week, you're playing an uncommon opponent, but it's a group that we've had a chance to watch through the whole off season, and just had a tremendous amount of respect for their defense. Obviously, went through a quarterback change, and we felt going in that we needed to control the ball, go the long way with efficiency, and the guys did a great job executing the plan. I think we were plus 20 or 20 minutes time possession at halftime, but obviously the score was 18-10. And I think our defense just opened it up clearly with the 4 takeaways. So plus 4, took good care of the ball. We had a lot going on with our offensive line. But that's that's complimentary football. That was the outlook going in, and our players did an excellent job.
You're normally a defer guy. You chose to take the ball, put your offense on the field first. Can you talk about that mentality and why you wanted to go offense first?
Well, it's just like anything. The coin toss is a decision that is part of the game management, how you feel. The offense, lines up against their defense, and vice versa. So we just really wanted to get going today, and that first drive, we put a lot of work in the start of the game, and so we just wanted to try to get out in front was the outlook.
Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. 10 points you've allowed, and you got 10 sacks. Just what level of dominance has your defense achieved these first 2 weeks?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're off to an outstanding start. The pressure and the takeaways are, at an incredible level after 2 games. So, but this group has taken it up a notch clearly from last year. And I think from top to bottom, not only our veteran players, but our younger players are really contributing. So it's awesome to see them flying around and staying the course. And like I said, the second half was super impressive.
Coach, can you speak about the carries for Pollard here to 25, 72? Look like career highs for him in terms of carrying.
I'm sorry, the 25, what did you say after that? Okay.
Can you speak to that?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, Tony was going to touch the ball. I mean, that was the plan coming in. Definitely want to get Rico some and try to spread it around. We had the package in there with Deuce, so we got him some touches. This was going to be a heavy lifting day for Tony, and he carried it.
Mike, CD had, I think, 11 catches, close to 150 yards. Very few of those were where he's matched up against Sauce Gardner. Did his versatility allow you to move him around and avoid that matchup or create more favorable ones?
Well, I mean, we really look at it from our side of it. I mean, if you go back to training camp, and even last year, we've been moving CD around. And we were, with Brandon's injury and not playing today, we were expecting, some more double cover one double CD because he's been seeing that of late. Yeah, moving him around is frankly just part of our offense.
Mike, this is 2 games now. We're asking you all season about Dak's interceptions. No interceptions, really only come close on 1 throw. Just his efficiency in these first 2 games and how he's running, what you want to do differently in this offense this year. Yeah,
I just think, we've had time to, look at the past, learn from it. But this is a new year. Every week's a new challenge. This was a huge challenge for us. We had a lot of moving parts in our offensive line. Just really proud of our young players to go in there and keep it going in a 4-minute mode type offense. So, but he's took some hits out there, which we knew was going to be part of this game. But I thought he played with really good patience. Really good patience, and that's what you got to do against a defense of that caliber.
Dak Prescott, turnover-free football, and he's currently speaking to the media now. We'll hear from Dak in just a moment, but you will see clips of quite a stunning suit that Dak's wearing. Looking dapper as hell is your starting quarterback, number 4 right now. So Dak we'll hear from in just a moment. 31 of 38, 255 yards, a pair of touchdowns. But again, no turnovers through the first 2 weeks of the season against a very good Jets defense as the Cowboys get the win 30-10. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus from the Miller Lite Club here in AT&T Stadium as the Cowboys are now 2-0.
Interesting what McCarthy said about, the question was asked about CeeDee Lamb. Mm-hmm. And he had 11 receptions, which I think is the most he's ever had. Bob Thomas, once again, my favorite statistician of all statisticians, said that to me, and this is where Mike was talking about, they thought because Cooks wasn't in the game that they was going to see more double coverage. See, that's something we talked about in the pregame. How would you play with Cooks being out of the game if you were the Jets? Would you find a way to say, okay, CD, you're not going to beat us today. It's going to be Gallup. It's going to be Tolbert. It's going to be these tight ends are going to be.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to see the all-22, though, how much that all, how much double coverage did he see? Maybe he didn't see enough. Maybe the Jets are going to go back and say, damn, we should have found a way going into this game not allowing CeeDee Lamb to get 11 catches.
It didn't seem like they made a ton of adjustments either after half. I mean, look, at the first half, CD was feasting. He had 106 yards in the first half. It's his third game with 100 yards in a single half. The others happening against New England 2 years ago, and then last year against Philadelphia. I believe that was the Christmas Eve game. But you didn't see Sauce Gardner get moved on to match up with him one-on-one. You mentioned the double teams. Not a whole lot of adjustments, and CD certainly had a heck of a game. So much more to break down. We got Brad Sham, who's going to sit down with us here in just a moment. But right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station ID across the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
You're turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
We will hear from your Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott, but coming up on the other side, the voice of your Dallas Cowboys, Brad Sham, will join us here in the Miller Lite Club. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Is your workplace on top of its game? For over 100 years, Pollock Aurora has been taking care of business, improving their bottom lines, and helping them grow with proven results that work. And this year is no exception. From keeping the workplace clean to custom packaging to shipping products and office essentials, Pollock leads the way in supplying everything Dallas workplaces need to do what they do. Backed by more than 10 decades of doing things right and moving companies forward.
game, you could be 2-0 in your division.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I'm just telling you right now, they are a contender in the AFC East or North or whatever the hell that is.
That's the East.
Whatever it is.
Northeast.
Whatever it is. They're a contender in the division.
Yeah.
Miami, New England, that defense can slow anybody down.
It can.
Yeah.
Miami, New England, they've already beat Buffalo. Now they're going to have to go to Buffalo.
Right.
But with that defense, I just think they have to run the ball well enough, give the young man time to grow, figure out how to call plays for him.
Mm-hmm.
And if what you said is right, if he is too robotic,
I think
then,
so, Brad.
Then work with him. So that's why we're paying you a lot of coaching money.
He looks like, to me, it's kind of predetermined read. You know, like if it's there, I'm throwing it. If I get knocked off platform a little bit, I'm kind of
going to run around.
I'm going to run. I'm going to maybe throw an interception to Curse because I didn't see him standing there. You know.
So the idea was to have him learn how to do all that from Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so now,
by the way, I'm glad he didn't play today. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be that guy,
yeah.
but yeah.
I
don't hope people in California hate me because of injury. They think I think of injury and cheer for injury. I don't.
No.
But I'm glad he didn't play. Yeah, I don't cheer
we've
for
seen
injury.
Aaron Rodgers against Cowboys enough.
Yes,
we have.
Yes,
enough.
We've had enough.
In fact, I'm not sure on a torn Achilles if you trotted him out there that he wouldn't keep them in the game. Based on what I've seen.
We saw him one time in a playoff game. He couldn't even walk
with a bad calf.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I just need everybody to stop bringing up to me whining about Dez caught it, because it doesn't matter.
Brad, I was standing right there. He caught it.
Okay, fine. There was 4.5 minutes left.
He caught it.
Do you remember the big defensive end who was the wrestler who's working at Lowe's now or wherever? What was the guy's name?
Which one you talking?
You know, the big pass rusher.
Jeremy Mincy?
No.
David Irvin?
No, the guy they signed when they couldn't catch up to one-legged Aaron Rodgers. The next year they went and signed the guy, and he was disruptive in the locker room, and then he
Alden
quit.
Smith.
No. I'll think of it.
We'll think of it.
But the point is,
I can't remember what I had for lunch.
4 minutes left in the game. Yeah, Dez caught it? Absolutely.
Is it Greg Hardy?
It's Greg Hardy.
It's Greg Hardy.
By the way, go back and look at the
working
tape.
at Lowe's. You're right.
No, he really is.
He really is.
I thought that was a joke, but he literally is.
By the way, go back and look at the tape. Now, I do not fault Tony Romo for this. I do not, because I understand the quarterback thinking. Go back and look at that Dez play from the snap. Now, he saw single coverage, and he's going to go to single coverage on Dez Bryant every time.
Yeah.
And what did he have underneath?
Cole Beasley.
With about how much open space around
A lot of open space. It's catch, it's run, it maybe gets down. Maybe you could kill some time down there.
Just saying.
I'm saying when that ball flew to me at 4th and 2, I looked down and I saw Dez and Sam Shield in some of the worst position I've ever seen a defensive back. But enough of that. Give Mike McCarthy some credit, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Give some Mike McCarthy some credit calling ball plays today.
Yeah, I think that he. One of the things that I've
gotten
from watching in these, I don't.
It's about time he came around.
I know. I'm trying.
In these 2 games, one of the things I think we've seen is, and I think you and I have probably talked about this through the years. There are some play callers who just have to show you how smart they are.
Oh, no.
They just have to show you how cute they can be at calling fancy stuff.
You said you liked the play to Hendershot. I hated that play.
I know. That's fine. But it was a running play, and I thought it had a chance to work. But here's the point. What I've seen in 2 weeks from McCarthy is he's not trying to impress anybody with his fancy play calls.
You're right.
He is being very efficient.
He is.
He is calling the game that is before him.
Mm-hmm.
He is playing the game that is put in front of him.
Right.
And so last week, they didn't have to crank out the whole offense for crying out loud. They're up 1-0
Yeah.
and it's raining, and the Giants aren't coming back. Why should I show you anything?
Sure. Yeah.
And today, they had to open it up a little bit more. Would you like better production in the red zone? Absolutely.
Please.
In fact, you're going to have
to get it
as it goes along.
He can kick field goals, though.
And I personally believe that
nice
will
see.
be the case.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, don't take undue chances. Don't be throwing the ball up when it was 24-10. And the thing we were talking about, Babe and I, was that the Jets can't physically unable to score 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be all crazy and try to throw the ball in the end zone.
Right.
kick your field goal and go up by 3 scores. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thinking that I think we are seeing from him as a play caller. Yeah. And I would give him high marks for that. And it's earning confidence going forward that he will have a sense of how to call the game that comes up. You make your plan.
Right.
And then you call the game that comes up.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing that.
Yeah.
Quarterback got better this week,
Right.
though, right? Didn't the quarterback look better throwing the ball today?
No doubt. How about the efficiency for Dak?
Except for the one throw.
The Gallup one?
The one that Sauce Gardner
dropped.
Yeah,
the dropped interception,
so
sure.
For all this dominance.
I know. Yeah.
They are one dropped pick six and 2 defensive penalties on the Jets.
That helps.
Away from trailing at halftime. Yeah. That Schoonmaker touchdown drive is fueled by a roughing the passer and a PI in the end zone. And
Clete Blakeman will give you that every once in a while.
Hey,
that's what he'll do.
That is football.
He went low.
That is football.
Yeah.
And what you have to do if you're a good team is you have to make the other team pay for its mistakes.
Right.
And so that's what they did. They took advantage. The other team made mistakes, and they took advantage of that. Other than that, I thought Prescott
quarterback,
was tremendously accurate. I thought he saw the field. I have 0 complaints.
Brad, thank you so much, sir. We'll do it again next week.
Okay, that's fine.
The great Brad Sham here with you, brought to you by the National Medal of Honor Museum. Join the mission at mohmuseum.org and AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of your Dallas Cowboys. 30-10, Cowboys get the win over the Jets. They improve to 2-0. Jets falling to 1-1. We mentioned McCarthy, the play calling, Dak there as well. We'll hear from Dak Prescott coming up here in just a little bit. We also want to hear from you, 877-881-1053. Your calls, your texts after this one. But we did have CeeDee Lamb, who had a career high today, 11 catches. He went over 100 yards in the first half alone in this one. And afterwards, he caught up with our very own Chris Arnold.
CeeDee, great game, great victory. You surprised at how many passes you were able to catch this first half?
Not necessarily. This offseason we put in a lot of work, got in a lot of time together. So just coming here and actually letting it, showing a season, it just proves the offseason work actually translates.
Jets are a great defense. Were you surprised that they didn't have somebody travel with you since you were making so many receptions?
I don't know. If they do have somebody travel, they're going to be mighty tired because I do a lot of motion. So, whatever their D coordinator decide, we'll be happy with.
How big was this victory for you guys to go 2-0 now and score over 30 points 2 games in a row?
It was always big, man. Week in and week out, we trying to collect, 1-0, and having that mindset of season everything and playing together and dominating.
And finally, were you able to show some things you couldn't do in the rain last week in New York?
Nah, just letting it loose every week. Something different. It's just what happens in a game.
There's CeeDee Lamb after this one talking with the media. Zach Wolchuk alongside Bryan Broaddus here. We will hear from Dak Prescott. We'll also hear from Tyler Broaddus. We've got Malik Hooker, who had an interception today as well. 877-881-1053. Some questions about the offensive line coming in as well. How was Tyron today? That's always something where you got to go back. You kind of got to watch the All-22 study of the film to really get a good idea. But it seemed like Tyron Smith, again, back-to-back games.
Oh, let me tell you this. No, yeah. Hey, count me in for these offensive linemen today. Little bit of mobility with Dak, had to move around, ball coming out the way it needed to be, receivers. Yeah, listen, the way that those corners and safeties play for the Jets, they're going to give their rush time to get home. And I felt like there were several times you look at what was going on, with the Jets defense. Carl Lawson back in the mix. We talked about Jermaine Johnson, a guy that you and I liked in the draft. John Franklin Myers. They have some pass rushers. They have some guys that can absolutely get after you. And so, Quentin Williams.
Quentin Williams can be an ultimate game record.
Quentin Williams. How about that? They've got guys. I thought they held up really, really well today.
And in the middle, we were worried a little bit. You got Adoga shuffling in there. Bass had to come in for the Adoga injury.
Right.
But they played really, really well, and they're showing the depth now on the offensive line, which we had some concerns about coming into the season.
They did.
And they're playing really good football.
The ability to the ability for Dak to sit there and survey the field or get the ball to CD or get the ball, to where he needed to be to Tolbert and the line, especially against this front. I think Brad's absolutely right about this Jets defense. I'm not sitting there all like, oh, hey, we oversold. No, we didn't oversell this. I think the Cowboys had a really good plan today, and it felt like that the way that they played up front afforded them the opportunity to move the ball the way they did.
Absolutely, and they set the tone with the first offensive drive of the game. All right, we'll hear from you, 877-881-1053, the number to call, the number to text. Also your quarterback, Dak Prescott. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Cowboys Nation is big because everything's bigger.
and by Ford. Your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Ball near the left hash. Prescott in the gun. Back is on his left. Snap goes back. Looking to his left. Looking. Checks it down. Ferguson at the 1. Leans over the pylon. Touchdown.
The Cowboys have now won 9 consecutive games at AT&T Stadium, standing as they span back to last season. Last home game they lost, Week 1, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the most consecutive wins at home here at AT&T Stadium since they opened in 2009. Last time Cowboys won 9 straight games at home when they won 11 straight back at Texas Stadium from 1991 to 1992. Pretty impressive streak here at AT&T Stadium as the home cooking has been very kind to the Dallas Cowboys. 30-10, they get the win today over the New York Jets. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus. Postgame brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and Blockchain.com. Trust the team at Blockchain.com to make buying, selling, and trading crypto easy. Play smarter, not harder with Blockchain.com. I do want to hear from you, 877-881-1053, as we hit the phones. What's going on? You're giving me this weird smirk right now.
I was thinking somehow you were going to tie the blockchain and the Jack Black together.
It was a one-time thing.
I was hopeful it was going to happen again.
All right. You know what? I'm going to find a way to be creative and get them merged as one yet again. Maybe I can find a way to do that.
Thank you, Blockchain, and thank you, Jack Black.
We love you both. But let's hear from your winning quarterback, Dak Prescott, looking dapper as ever with a beautiful suit that I'm sure you'll be able to see all over social media. How's Dak feeling after this 30-10 win?
David Moore, Dallas Morning News.
Yep, here we go.
Can you just talk about your efficiency in today's game and really in these first 2 games overall offensively, especially with the new things you're doing on offense?
Yeah, I mean, pretty efficient. Coach set out a goal, 28 completions. Obviously, we hit that. Run game did a great job. We've got to score more. We've got to get more touchdowns rather than field goals. But at the end of the day, in this league, it's about getting the job done and winning the game and being complimentary of your defense. And I think we did that. As you said, very efficient in ways. But we left a lot out there still. I mean, that's the standard of this offense, standard of this team. We expect to score touchdowns on every drive. And so when you don't do that, you still haven't hit your goal, I guess you can say. So, a lot we can do better, but overall a very efficient team win that I'm proud of. It's hard to win in this league.
My cell phone was starting talking. I'm seeing stole my purple color. Need that suit.
It's pink. It's mauve, actually, if you want to be. It's mauve mixed with the blue, so
okay.
I'll let you have the purple.
Okay. Mike McCarthy is a defer guy. You know, you guys took the ball today on offense and certainly had a great opening drive. Just talk about the excitement of wanting to be on the field and really put the offense out there today.
Yeah, I mean, you got a good game plan. You feel good about our first 15 or so, the work that we've put into it. And, you want to get the ball in your hands. I mean, the explosive guys that we've got on offense, the confidence that we have, all the work that we've put into this, I think that's a result of, going out there, knowing that we can go get 7 points, we can be successful in our first drive and allow the defense to play with a lead. I mean, just back-to-back weeks now, you see when we get a couple of score lead, how tough it is on the other team, making them more dimensional. Then our guys can go hunt as the pass rushers and just sets up the way that exactly how we want to play. So it's just fitting.
Jack Todd to the ESPN. How do you define complimentary football? What does it mean to you?
Winning. Simple. Winning.
And when you look at your 2 straight games now without a pick, you didn't have that happen all of last year. Is there anything that goes to what you've done this offseason so far?
What about the year before that? Or the year before that? Or the year before that?
Well, yeah.
Last year is last year. And it's something, I've left. And, the interceptions, all that, it's I guess when you lead the league, it'll never go away. But as I stated last year, every one of them has their story. But that's not where my mind is. It's not something I think about. Just being candid, I really don't care about the questions about them at this point. I know how efficient this offense is. I know the work that I've put into this game, the work that we've put in as a unit. And, that's not even a thought process. I'm going out there just trying to complete the ball, get the ball to these guys, the playmakers that we have, get it to them in space, let them go do their thing, and then I'm still going to take some shots. I'm still going to, not shy away from the confidence that I have and the work that we've put in on some one-on-ones and give these guys opportunities. But I don't even think about that at this point.
Saad Yusuf, The Athletic. Zach, I understand on the sideline you're probably talking about offensive game plan and stuff, but when you have a free moment, how do you choose to watch Micah Parsons? Or, how do you look at what he's doing and to the other team and wrecking game plans?
Yeah, I look up time to time, yeah. I'm not surprised. And that's credit to the way they got that guy and the rest of the defense prepares, practice, approach the game, who they are, nonstop. Honestly, on and off the field, just around the facility. Those guys have confidence that exudes and is contagious. But it comes, as I just said, from the work that they put in. So, I don't even have to be watching to know exactly what he's doing, the pressure that he's causing, whether he's getting a sack or somebody else is getting a sack or the back end guys are getting turnovers. I went against these guys all spring and in the training camp, and it was not easy. And so it's just awesome to see the fruit of the labor coming in against another team for those guys.
Your victorious quarterback, Dak Prescott, there. You think he's sick of talking about the interceptions?
Yeah, a little bit.
My gosh. Yeah, first game, you didn't have 2 games in a row without an interception last year. Well, okay, what about the year before that? Year before that? Year before that? I think, yeah. I get it, and people will bring
he's lucky he didn't have that pick 6.
Sure. I think every single week we could go look at you name the quarterback and the dropped interceptions, right?
Yeah.
If you want to nitpick it because it's Dak, go for it. I think this was made very apparent on Monday Night Football when Josh Allen had 4 turnovers against the same defense. Yet Josh Allen is discussed as an elite level Tier 1 quarterback. People make a big deal because it's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But overall, you look at the body of work of his career. Did he lead the league in interceptions a year ago? Sure he did.
Yep.
But that hasn't been a massive flaw of his game in totality. And he certainly heard all the criticism this offseason. And so far, 2 games, no turnovers.
And Sunday night, though, in those weather conditions, they didn't have to throw the ball a whole heck of a lot. The game was in hand. But to his credit, I think he's seeing the field better. I think they're making better decisions. I think the receivers or the way the offensive scheme is working, there's guys that are open. He's not having to make a lot of really super, super tough throws. Now, there were a couple of them that he shot inside there. And, CD went up and got one, got whacked. Luckily, he didn't hurt his shoulder when he hit the ground. He threw a ball to Gallup in the middle of the field that probably shouldn't have been thrown.
Yeah, and he'll go back and he'll see Hunter Lipke
Gallup
who was wide open.
Gallup is like, listen, bro, if you're going to throw the ball to me there, make sure you give me a chance. But that's there's sometimes these quarterbacks, they're going to throw passes that are not very good, and hopefully you're not throwing them to the other team. Zach Wilson today was throwing the ball to the other team. He was harassed. He was making mistakes. He wasn't confident in what he was seeing. And the Cowboys secondary was doing a nice job of covering on the back end. The rush was getting home, harassing him. Heck, the biggest thing you worry about with Zach Wilson, they was running the damn ball.
Right.
Zach Wilson wasn't going to beat you throwing the ball. He might beat you running the ball.
Yeah.
But they were able to kind of put things together there. But you're right, Dak. Hey, I'll go on record and say I thought he played really well today. 13 straight, and then to finish with 7 straight. When he had to make throws, I just want to go back and see what happened in the red zone. Play calling, with Mike, was there something that needed to be done differently there? Was there something, were they trying to be a little schemy were they trying to be a little cute? Another thing, and instead of just trying to maybe make some things happen, but they were pretty committed to trying to run them in a couple of times there. Yeah. The play to Schoonmaker, I thought, was a nice.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Nice design.
Congratulations to Schooney for getting his first career NFL touchdown as well. As the tight ends, you saw the use of all 3. I do think Peyton Hendershot blocking wise, and Brad liked the play that they ran to him, but there was you brought up Sean.
Brad's
McEwen.
Listening right now, and I did not like that play.
I know
all.
You didn't.
I do love you, Brad.
Hey, if he's able to, if maybe it's blocked up better, it ends up being a touchdown. But I do think Hendershot, in some ways, we need to improve as a blocker there. That's an area you can work on. I also wanted to ask you, brought up Michael Gallup. The conversation pregame with Cook's out, right? Yeah. Gallup's got to step up. Jalen Tolbert's got to step up. Tolbert made some big catches to move the sticks on 3rd down. Michael Gallup had a couple of big hits in this one. Yeah. The one catch that he made, kind of awkward, but overall just the one catch for 3 yards. Yeah. What'd you think about Tolbert and Gallup?
Well, Tolbert, I challenged Tolbert in the pregame because I knew that if the Jets had come into this game like the Cowboys thought, the coaching staff thought, and was taken out of the game like he was against San Francisco last year, then it was going to be on Tolbert, Gallup, and then also these tight ends and maybe the backs to try and to generate some offense. I wish there were some opportunities where it was just really clean, good looks for Michael Gallup. I don't feel like he's maybe it's a situation where if you sat down and just watched all 22 of Michael Gallup, there would be routes that he would be open, and the ball's not going his way.
He's in his defense, only 2 targets today.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the ball was thrown his way a lot.
I do. The guy has busted his ass to get back, and trying. And he deals with a lot of things, and he is able to kind of get himself ready to play with a smile on his face. I just wish there was some times where they would scheme him open.
Yeah.
I think they ran a crack toss. I just trying to remember and crack toss is when the receiver comes inside, blocks the edge, and then the ball gets to the outside. Well, I think he had a big block on a crack toss where it got the ball to the edge with Pollard on a long run. So he's trying, but I don't think he's gotten any really, really clean looks.
Yeah.
And I would like to see him have the opportunity because I think he's capable.
I do too.
I think he's very capable of, but he even understands. Remember when we interviewed him during training camp? He was very much a man. Hey, this number 18. He was talking about Tolbert. This number 18 is coming after my job a little bit.
Sure.
Here. And he sees what the situation is. But he's going to block. He's going to do what he has to do. He went up there to try, and he got crushed. That ball in the middle of the field, he got crushed on that.
Big shot.
Yeah.
He
so as long as he doesn't lose that passion to go get those balls, hell, he can play for me.
All right, let's go to the phones, and a lot of you have been waiting patiently. 877-881-1053, the number to call, the number to text. Let's go to line 2. We got Marlon in Mansfield. Marlon, how you doing? You're on the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much. Great show as usual. And
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment, and I want to have you guys respond to it. I want to harken back to something that Bryan said earlier. He actually made a couple of comments. He said the Cowboys could have put a hurt on the Jets today. And then really his comments I thought were pretty prescient when he brought up San Francisco that's coming up in about 3 weeks. And my concern is this. My concern is that our offense is not coming out on form the way that we've seen San Francisco play the past 2 weeks. And I heard what Dak just said. Fine, he's put it out of his mind. But until he beats San Francisco, he hasn't. Right. And so I'm concerned about our offense coming out on form over the next couple of weeks so that when we get to that Sunday night football, and by the way, we have 2 West Coast games, night games back-to-back, that we can come out on form, match their intensity, and then beat them. I'd like to get you guys' comments, and thanks again for taking my call.
Yeah, thank you, Marlon. I appreciate that. They started off 12 plays, 75 yards. You go right down to score.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying in terms of consistency, and if you're just going based off of, hey, looking back at years past, we have seen the team have slow starts before. Today they got off to a hot start.
I think he went to the Deuce Vaughn package too early, the second series of the game.
Because I believe that ended up being a 3-and-out.
Yeah, absolutely it did. And there was one series where they gained 1 yard in 3 plays.
Yeah.
Was another.
And I think, was that the one where Deuce kind of bobbled the ball?
Yeah.
If he catches it clean,
Double
maybe
call,
he has a chance to get the first down, but he didn't. So
he got instead of it was third and 5, and he got 4, or 3rd and 3, or 3rd and 4, and he got 3 or something. But anyway, he bobbled the ball. But I think McCarthy went a little early. I think McCarthy went a little early with his maybe with the Deuce package. Maybe I would have waited one more series, but hell, he's the head coach. I mean, I'm just here talking about him on the radio. There's things that if this offensive line keeps blocking the way it has, I think the things that we're talking about, the red zones and I think those issues will take care of themselves. I think there's things that they could look at and they could go back and say, okay, what was the intent of having this play on the call sheet? What was the intent? What did we see with this Jets defense that we felt like that we could do that? I felt like there was too much, maybe a little bit too much of running. When they got down there, a little bit too much running where they probably couldn't get the push that they needed. Maybe they needed a little bit more creativity down there with some of those things. But I think that overall, this team to me is, you get Tyler Smith back at guard and get him a couple of games under his belt before San Francisco, I think this offensive line will be all right. I do want them to go back, and they will. They'll go back and evaluate the trips to the red zone, and that'll be a question tomorrow in Mike McCarthy's press conference of what did you see in the red zone that you need to do better.
Sure, because to Marlon's point,
that's where I think they were at not
that's
good.
where they missed really
That's
being
where
able
they
to
missed
take
today.
it to the next
Yes,
level.
yes.
And 100% to Marlon's point, when you're playing against a team like San Francisco,
You can't waste
you
trips.
You can't leave meat on the bone and
Yeah.
settle for 3 instead of getting 7. And especially you got to make the most of those turnovers, right?
Well, San Francisco struggled with L.A. a little bit today too. That thing was a 10-10, 17-10, 17. That wasn't anything that gave you like I said. Go back and look at San Francisco. They're the bully right now. They're the team that I think is kind of the bully. Philadelphia might not be as strong as we all thought they would be 2 weeks in.
I agree. I think San
Francisco might be the bully here.
And I think today was
maybe Tampa. They're 2-0 right now.
Tampa's surprisingly playing good football. You're absolutely right on that. I thought they would be competing for maybe the number 1.
I did
overall pick in
too.
the draft.
I thought they were top 3 pick all the way.
But they still got a lot of talent there, and maybe it's a mirage, but they're 2-0 as well.
Commanders 2-0.
They are, and I thought today, the Jets. The locker room talked about the similarities to the Jets and the 49ers.
That was all week.
All week long.
All week long.
Now, are they as good? No, they're not, clearly. But the last 2 years, last 2 off seasons ago and then this off season, the organization made the shift to, one, we want to get tougher, we want to get more physical, and we want to stop the run. Well, today, against a Jets team that is a solid test when you're going ahead and you're going to have to foreshadow and play against the Niners, I think they checked off those boxes today. They bullied the Jets for the most part. They won at the line of scrimmage, and they stopped the run.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right about that. I was really, really, really worried about playing run defense today. I just felt like that the Jets were going to come off and they were going to keep handing the ball. That the whole tone, the first play of the game, Tank moving from left end to right end. I think it caught the Jets by surprise. They did a great job of going against Dwayne Brown today over there at left tackle and just destroying his will to compete.
All right, I know a lot of you are still waiting patiently. We will get to your calls. Don't you worry. Appreciate you rocking with us, as always, on the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys. We also got to hear from the owner, Jerry Jones. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
They say champions are remembered, but legends...
And the first play is a run to Hall. Coming left. Why don't you sit down? Why don't you run to DeMarcus Lawrence and have a sit down, sir, for yourself?
Oh, DeMarcus Lawrence, what a way to open that game. I think over his career, maybe one of the most underrated Dallas Cowboys to ever wear the uniform. He gets paid. A lot of fans upset with the sack totals, but if you watch him and you study the film, as all around a complete defensive end as there is in the NFL, and he disrupts the game in more ways than just the sack totals.
What you ought to do is you don't even have to buy the All-22 package. Just go watch condensed game on the NFL.com, and you could see, just focus on him, and you will see him every single play do something to disrupt what the other team's trying to do. When you run the ball at him, he does a great job of understanding how to keep his outside shoulder free. He turns things back into the inside. When he's on a slant charge inside, he beats especially when the play is like going away, he could just go through that gap on the back door and then make a play from behind. He could get up the field as a pass rusher. He breaks guys down. He's really has some complete game to his repertoire and the way that he works. And I admire the guys that can play the run, can play the pass. There's a lot of guys in this day and age that are really good one-dimensional players, but that guy can help you in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. 804 texting in. The Cowboys have outscored their opponents 70-10.
Yeah.
And the 49ers are the bullies. Did the Cowboys win today? You're talking like they lost. Well, they have lost to the 49ers.
They have a couple of times,
that's the team that's ended your season in the postseason.
Yeah.
I love everything we've seen from the Cowboys, but until you beat the 49ers, certainly I think that's fair criticism to put the Cowboys just a tick behind the 49ers overall.
Let me tell you what, I was more impressed with the 49ers win over Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh than I was Dallas's win in New York. They went and beat Pittsburgh up in their own backyard.
Uncommon opponent.
And they're 2-0, and they've played 2 road games in a row. And they played a divisional opponent with the Rams. The Rams gave them a little bit of trouble.
It's not to take anything away from what the Cowboys are doing. The Cowboys are a hell of a football team, and I can't wait to watch them play and hopefully beat the crud out of the 49ers. Sure. But we got to show them the respect that they deserve after beating the Cowboys the last 2 years and ending our season.
Absolutely have. Yep.
And that's all we're trying to do here, not take away anything from the Cowboys. Let's go back, get some tape of the locker room. Brought to you by Blockchain. You don't need a complicated play to bring it into the end zone. That's why you should trust the team at Blockchain.com to make buying, selling, and trading crypto easy. Play smarter, not harder with Blockchain.com. Bryan Broaddus, your owner, Jerry Jones, caught up with the media after this. What did Jerry have to say following a 20-point victory?
So proud of this team all the way around. A lot of firsts out there, but we played a lot of players. That's good from my perspective. Guys were sat there, young lineman like Richardson on the offensive line. A lot of guys got a lot of snaps.
Jerry Jones, Jerry, 2 straight games now, no turnovers. How important is that?
Well, I think it says a lot about our coach, and it's an emphasis. I can't say enough about how Mike has prepared this team the last 2 weeks, how he came out of training camp, and so give him a really extraordinary amount of credit here, Mike McCarthy. And of course, he's doing a great job leading that coaching staff. But as I said earlier, he's the businessman in North Texas because he's calling the plays and doing the offense plus doing the coaching. But seriously, he'd be the first to tell you, got a lot of help in there. I'm proud of this whole group. We've got our fans should. I am really excited about what's ahead of us.
Jerry, you've outscored these 2 New York teams 70-10. How good do you feel about this team and where you are right now?
Well, I like it. We've done it in a different ways. And so that's good. I do feel very good about that. I think we've seen a lot of the fundamentals of our team, special teams, offense, defense, certain things have that we're putting in, that we put in, if you will. We're trying, we're using them. Of course, that's kind of interesting how many times we ran that 20 right at the end of the ball game out there, right at the end. But I guess he needed to get his carries in. But anyway, I just like the way the team is being managed.
What's your level of concern about the left guard position with Chuma Udoka getting hurt today?
Well, I don't know that the extent of that. I'm not thinking that it's serious at this time. Nothing I heard in there would indicate seriousness. Anything takes him off the field because we, like everybody else, need our depth in the offensive line. Hopefully helps on the way back with Smith. And so I'm looking at it from that standpoint. We had at least two of our young guys really play well out there tonight. Really play well. And that'll serve us well in the immediate future.
How is Zach?
Well, I think we've got us a kicker, and that's a far cry from missing that first, I think, extra point that we started the season off with. But I'm the kind of guy that'll hang in there with him. No, seriously, I'm pleased for him, pleased for our team. But that was everything you want to for a kicker to experience, and still let us have, as a young kicker, a lot to look forward to.
Zach Martin left early. Is there any concern?
He doesn't seem to be. I visited with him. He seems to be okay.
Thoughts on Pollard? Obviously, let's talk about can he carry a full load? Obviously, he had a career high carries.
Yeah, and I thought there at the end that we might not have had him in there as much, but the coach knows what he's doing, and I defer to that.
How's Sharif Floyd? That was a little scare there on the sideline with him fainting.
Yeah, and I didn't notice that really that chain of events out there. Yeah.
Could this start have been any better, these two games for you guys?
Have what?
Could these two games gone any better for you guys?
Well, from the standpoint of winning the scores, but I like how much we're getting to play a lot of our depth, and it's out there a lot, and that's going to pay off for us because we're going to need it. Everybody needs it. So we got a lot of depth playing out there these last two ball games. That's good.
Hard to imagine a better start for the Cowboys. 30-10, you've outscored your opponent 70-10. The only touchdown allowed, the one big play to Garrett Wilson that was a one drive, one play. Able to and that's one of the best receivers.
It's a pretty play
as well, no doubt. And best throw Zach Wilson had all day. No, wow. I mean it was bang bang. Certainly Malik Hooker will probably want to have that one
Malik
back.
Could make that play.
He bounced back with an interception, though.
Sure
The
did.
Dallas Cowboys defense has been playing absolutely lights out and unconscious. I thought this was hilarious. Omar Ruiz, who was filling in for our friend Jane Slater with the NFL Network.
Get well, Jane, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Best wishes to you, Jane. But he was working alongside Bobby Bell. Omar afterwards asked Micah, when did you know you could wreck this game? Micah said Monday. That's it. Monday. I think
Monday.
He feels that way probably. He's already thinking today, hey, when do you think you can go ahead and just wreck the Arizona Cardinals? Right now. Go ahead and let's lace them up. Let's play. That's Micah Parsons for you.
Yeah.
But certainly, Tony Pollard, Bryan, is it weird to think
a lot of carries?
The 25 carries were shocking for me.
Yeah.
I thought they did such an excellent job of rotating in Rico, who looked good in his opportunities.
Sure.
I mentioned in pass protection, the Deuce Vaughn getting rotated in as well. All of that, and then Tony Pollard, you look up and he has a career high with 25 carries.
Why don't you hit a station ID and I'll answer that question.
Let's
next.
go ahead and pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves across the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
You're turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Go low, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
That was for you, Peyton, as Ruben is giggling with excitement and enthusiasm here sitting to my right. Bryan, back to you.
Thank you very much there, Zachary. You know what? I felt like to me, I understand getting Tony Pollard going, and Tony Pollard's not a small guy. Weight-wise, he is not a small guy. But I don't know if 30 touches for him is, if I could survive that the whole year. I think that, to me, I would try and figure out ways to get more. I kind of was complaining about, I felt like he went to the Deuce package maybe a series or two early. That would have been one that you kind of, maybe he wanted to say, let's see if they prepared for this one. But, there's nothing wrong with Rico Dowdle playing and getting him opportunities to carry the ball. I just don't want him to be in a situation where by week 8, week 9, Tony Pollard is looking like Ezekiel Elliott, not playing, his heart out, but he's just so banged up that he loses his effectiveness. That's what I worry about.
Sure. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, you want to keep him fresh overall. But, man, I was stunned to see the amount of carries. And maybe some of that, accumulated late in the fourth quarter. You're trying to run out the clock there.
Well, Rico Dowdle can do that.
But, yeah, he can. And Rico showed that, man.
Yeah.
Rico played well, I thought. And we did get a text, Vaughn maybe being a little bit of a drive killer early on from the 5.62. He's not built for game in the balanced play. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, see, that's what I was saying. I felt like there could have been a point in the game, maybe in the second quarter, where you throw that package in. If you're kind of you're establishing a little bit with your offense. But it was like, yeah, good first drive. It's all of a sudden like, okay, get the Vaughn package to go.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Because if they score, say they come down and they drive again and score and it's 14 and that game's over. That game is over. And they kind of just gave it away there. They kind of went a 3 and out and like, oh, okay. I'm not saying that Deuce Vaughn is not a good football player. I just think you have to kind of – we went from last week, we felt like that he was in the game because it was a blowout, and now we're talking about him during the week. Well, he might be an inactive guy, how many health, what's his real plan? What are we going to do? Well, they threw him in the second drive of the game, trying to tell, well, hey, you guys think that could be inactive? Well, we'll show you.
Right.
But
and look, I mean, I hear what
he
you're
is
saying.
a good player. He really, really is. I don't know if I would have used him second drive of the game.
And maybe they won't. And I think that that's fair criticism, but I don't think that it's Deuce Vaughn isn't built for this in-game deal. I mean, look.
You watch him at Kansas
10
State.
to 7, right.
No.
That's 14-play touchdown drive. Yeah. It's a Deuce Vaughn drive. 11-yard run, 13-yard pass.
Exactly.
Here's another 3-yard run. Deuce
that's
Vaughn's
what I'm saying.
very, very capable.
There you go. That's kind of where I thought that they were going to take advantage of it.
Maybe you just wait. You mix him in a little bit later on into the flow.
You establish what's going on with Pollard, and then also establish what's going on with Rico Dowdle, and then all of a sudden it's a complete change of pace for the defense to have to deal with Deuce Vaughn.
Sure, absolutely. 30-10, Cowboys get a big-time victory over the New York Jets, 2-0, and it feels so good as we broadcast live from the Miller Lite Club here at AT&T Stadium. Zach Wolchuk alongside Bryan Broaddus, the Super Bowl winning scout, 2/5 of the G-Bag Nation on the flagship 105.3 The Fan. You can catch us 2 to 7 weekdays there. We will hear from you. Don't you worry. I'm going to get to you, callers. I know you're waiting patiently. 877
Keep saying that.
881-1053. We got a lot happening around here. There's a lot to unpack. Right. We're celebrating riding high on a victory, and I know these callers are waiting and being patient. We will get you on the other side. I promise you. All right, I'm going to run through all of you here.
I think there's some teasing going on here.
A lot of teasing, but that's why you stick around. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
People will always come and go in our lives, but we all know those few who never left.
Only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time.
It's first and goal at the 1. Straight I formation. Play fake. Looking right. Left. Throws it in the end zone. Caught. Flag is down. This is the first professional catch and touchdown for Luke Schoonmaker if the penalty is on the defense.
Scooney, congratulations. That is our
Go
drive of
Blue.
the game. Ford is our sponsor here. Brought to you by Ford. It is the best in Texas. Ford, your Texas Ford dealers, as they bring you your drive of the game. An absolutely beautiful drive. 13 plays, 75 yards, 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Put the Cowboys up 18-7. They went for 2 as well after the Scooney touchdown. Tony Pollard able to get the 2-point conversion.
It was roughing the passer.
Yeah, there was,
right? There was defensive holding, roughing the passer. And so they moved the ball up a yard.
To the 1 yard line.
1 yard line. And
Yeah.
Coach said, if you're going to do that, we're going to go ahead and go for this thing.
Yeah, and the Jets certainly helped that. You know, you had the penalty on Bryson Eccles as well on Jalen Tolbert. So that on 3rd and goal gave you first down and goal at the 1, and Scooney able to get the touchdown there. But, hey, the young tight ends, you know, I saw somebody leave a comment about the tight ends and maybe wanting a little bit more. You had Ferguson score a touchdown today. You had Schoonmaker score a touchdown today. Ferguson could have easily had scored 2 touchdowns. I get it. Maybe, you know, the statistics aren't just eye-popping, wow type of things where Ferguson's getting you 8 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. But you watch them block. I think these tight ends are doing their job very, very well.
I think the Cowboys in the last 2 games with the blocking aspect, I think, has been A+. The receptions last week were an F. This week, you got more involved. You had some catches along the way. I think it was a much better game overall for these tight ends. So after last week's game, you were worried if they would ever catch a pass, but here they are. They, you know, couple of, as you mentioned, couple of touchdowns. Those are good. You know, that's a good reflection right there. The blocking, though, I think has been, like I said, has been top shelf.
It really has been. All right, let's go out to the phones. I promised you we would, and here we are. We're paying off on that promise. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus, 30-10 Cowboys, 2-0 on the young 2023 season. Let's head out to Jersey. Our buddy Scott's been waiting. Scott, what's going on? What do you got for us?
Hey, guys. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Hey, Broaddus, man. I've been listening to pregame everything all day today. Awesome pregame. I really appreciate how you put up to the game. It's awesome all week long. I really appreciate the knowledge that you have. There's no negativity in tonight's game. You cannot say anything bad. But the only thing, it's great to see that that Diggs really did get his first interception. But are we ready to compare Parsons with Lawrence Taylor?
Oh, you're going to get crushed in Jersey saying that. Scott, you know that. You've seen Lawrence Taylor play, right?
I've seen Lawrence Taylor play. That's what I'm seeing this guy play. And it's like every play there, he's disrupting something, either if it's a penalty or if it's just 2 people on him.
Sure.
Or he's just running through people.
I'll tell you what, Scott, thank you, man, for the call. I grew up watching Lawrence Taylor play against, like, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the St. Louis Cardinals, Atlanta. It didn't matter. I mean, Micah Parsons is a super, super disruptive player, a game wrecker. I think we're getting to the point. The one thing I could always say about Lawrence Taylor is that I think that coordinators have to plan how to play against him.
Yep.
Or against Lawrence Taylor. I think we're getting close to where offensive coordinators for Micah Parsons are having to completely scheme their game plans. But man, Lawrence Taylor, to me, I can't tell you how many times. I mean, Lawrence Taylor, when it was rush. And when the game was completely on the line, I mean, he would kill the game. And I think Mike has got that same kind of ability. I just think that Lawrence Taylor, it was just every single snap that he was wrecking a game. But it's so easy to say, oh, I love Micah. But when you start to compare the two, I think it's starting to where the similarities are coming to where these offensive coordinators are going, you know what, we have to commit.
We can't
We've
allow
got to
him
commit.
to
And
beat us.
when they completely commit to this, and we see one of these games, when we see it, okay, maybe the 49er game coming up here in several weeks, and it's the final drive, and you're trying to get Brock Purdy off the field, and you're trying to seal the game. Maybe Micah Parsons will have one of those Lawrence Taylor type moments where it's just a blur coming around the corner or a blur going inside and just knocking the ball out of Brock Purdy's hands or knocking him down or, and ending the game right there. That's it. When you're comparing that guy to that guy, that is high praise.
It certainly is
in my books.
And I mean, he's earning it with his play
Mike
right
is,
now. But
Mike
he's got a way
is.
to go.
I think he's got a little bit of way, but he's starting, like we talked about, Zach. He's starting to learn. He's figured out, like, I can't just run up the field. I can't keep running up the field. I've got to get bigger. I've got to protect my joints of my knees, my shoulders. I got to get stronger.
The hands.
I got to work on my hands. I got to talk to all pro offensive tackles how to break guys down. He's figured out to play at a level like Lawrence Taylor. He's going that direction.
Sure.
But, Lawrence Taylor, the only thing Lawrence Taylor was interested in was going out and having a good time. But he would wreck shop in those games in the 80s. But Micah has kind of figured out if he wants to be a Lawrence Taylor, he's learning all these things. And to give him his credit, he's going the right path.
He certainly is. He is special, and I'm glad he is one of ours. As the Cowboys, 4 turnovers today.
Draft guys were smiling on you that day.
They certainly were. 3 sacks, Micah with 2 of those. All right, let's head out to Round Rock. Big Jim, what's going on, man? You're on with Zach Wolchuk and Bryan Broaddus.
Well, Chuck, Broaddus, I tell you, I love you boys so much. And if y'all are 2/5 of the G-Bag Nation, I'm just going to have to dive in here and get me 3/5 of some Tito. Let me tell you what I'm thinking here, fellas.
Okay.
I like McCarthy. And Broaddus, I'm going to tell you something. You're unlike any other big-time sports talk guy because you were on Steele last year, and you said, hey, I was wrong about Steele. You give McCarthy credit. That separates you, brother. Your ego doesn't drive you, and I appreciate that, and listeners do too.
Well, thank you. But I don't need to be wrong about this crap. You know what I'm saying? I need to get on it and be right.
Broaddus, you're a humble man. You're a humble man.
Try working with him every day, Big Jim. You might
appreciate that, sir. Thank you. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. I mean, we're 2 games in on this here West Coast offense. We've seen things that we've never seen in the Dallas Cowboys star helmets before. What else are we going to see out of this? What are we going to see next week? Well, how does this thing build? What else can we see? And I know, I mean, it looks like there's playmakers, but Broaddus and Wolchuk, give us a little taste of what you think you're going to see, what we're going to see, and how this offense can continue to grow. I'm very proud of these guys, and boy, I love you fellas. You're a big part of my life on a daily basis. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
We
very
love you
kind
too,
words.
Big Jim. I really appreciate the call.
Okay, this is where I think it gets better. For you. You had a game this week where Jalen Tolbert was involved and had some success. Good, positive. You had a game where Luke Schoonmaker got involved, tight end catch, touchdown. That's a good thing. You saw Rico Dowdle get more involved, and you saw him with the blitz pickup and things like that. So where I feel like it'll get even better is you'll get your starting left guard back.
Yes.
Okay, Bobby Belt did something. If you watch Love of the Star podcast or listen to it, Bobby said there's been an opportunity for over 1,000 snaps for the starting offensive line to have played together. How many snaps do you think the combination of Smith, Broaddus, Martin, and Steele have played out of 1,000 snaps together? How much do you think they've played?
None.
Yeah. 0. That's where this thing gets better.
Yeah, you're absolutely
That's where
right.
this thing, all of a sudden, it turns into, okay, hey, you got to have a 4-minute drive to kill this game. McCarthy's in his bag. Boom, boom, boom. He's calling it down the field. You mix in a little bit of a Dak waggle, play action, little flip to Schoonmaker. Boom, first down. Clock's still going. That's where this thing is going to get better. CeeDee Lamb on the outside, he's going to get better. Tolbert is going to get better. You know, you're kind of seeing it in little pieces right now, but I'm banking on those five guys up front that have not played, and 1,000 snaps have not played together. That's where this thing is going to get better.
That is an unbelievable stat.
Yeah.
But you're so right, because I think Tyler Smith adds some toughness, and when it comes to your running game, I think it's going to be that much better with him being able to get movement in the middle. I think he's going to be, when it comes to strength, he's probably the strongest guard you've had play alongside Tyron since Ron Leary left.
It's going to only help Tyron, because what happens when Tyron starts to, and knock on wood, when Tyron starts to break down a little bit, what happens? He loses that mobility. He gets a little stiff. He can't kind of move as well as he did. This is where you got Tyler Smith kind of keeping that eye over there, and that edge tries to take inside like Micah rushes inside. Now you got a instead of Adoga, which nothing, Adoga's played well.
I can't wait to see what TJ Bass
did. TJ Bass, that's what I'm saying. But Tyler Smith is a whole different animal playing that guard. And all of a sudden, if something bad happens over there to Tyron Smith, guess who's cleaning up the mess? Tyler Smith.
Yep.
This is where this offense is going to get better. And if they can continue to come up with some more creativity things, this red zone thing tonight was not good. That wasn't good enough. They need to be better in the red zone, and I think they will. I think they'll go home, sit down, watch the tape, to start tomorrow and kind of figure some things out.
Absolutely. Well said. I agree with you 100%. You get Tyler Smith back. That is going to be a big-time difference maker. All right, let's go to James in Azle. James, how you doing? You're on the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys.
Man, guys, I'm doing great, man. I'm a long-time listener. I'm a first-time caller.
Thank you.
And I'm a Tolo, baby. You know
Appreciate
what I'm saying?
Tolo?
Just real quick, Brandon Aubrey should get the game ball. There's no doubt about it. Field goals are important because points freaking matter.
They matter.
The main reason for my call is I want to put R.J. Sloppy on notice. He has constantly said that coaching does not matter. Well, I'm going to tell you, man, McCarthy, DQ, and Bones Fossil would argue with Choppy all day long. And I'm going to tell you something, man. I am so psyched about this coaching squad, man. It has got everybody just psyched, man. We have not felt good. We had Red Jesus, and we couldn't make it happen. You feel me? Okay,
Yeah.
So if coaching doesn't matter, just ask Dawson. Just ask Gavin Dawson if he'd let R.J. Sloppy just coach one game of his daughter's soccer team. He wouldn't do it. He would not do it because coaching matters. And if I can just have 10 more seconds, man, defenses are figuring out how to play in this offensive favorable league, and DQ is just about 2, maybe 3, 4 years ahead of everybody else. I am so psyched. I have been listening to the fans since Tony Romo was quarterback, man, and I am so effing psyched about this. And maybe Deuce is our closer. We don't need to bring him in the second quarter. He is the one that puts defenses on their heels in the fourth. I'm going to defer to you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, James. I appreciate you, man. Look, I think if you give RJ long enough, RJ will argue with himself about the coaching take as well.
I've heard RJ kind of like say something, and then maybe an hour later kind of completely changed the whole thing he was talking about. Yeah.
No doubt.
In a good way.
RJ, I don't know that he even really believes.
Now, Sean's we can do something with Sean.
Hey, you can go ahead and fight with Sean.
Him and Bobby.
I don't want to end up on Sean's
Peyton's the best one on that show, by the way.
Thank goodness for Peyton and the payload, the segment that he's gotten there. But no, I think coaching absolutely does matter. You can see it clearly with Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes is talent-wise one of the best, if not the best, to do it. Right, but is he as good as he is today without landing with Andy Reid?
I made a bold statement to me. I thought it was bold when I said it. I said Micah Parsons is only going to be as great as Dan Quinn will let him be.
And I mean, look, those relationships, and as talented as some of these players are, you've got to go to the right environment and team and coach that can bring that greatness out of you. And certainly Dan Quinn is doing it not only with Micah, but we've talked about it with Wanye Thomas, with Mark, with Bell, right? I mean, you name them.
Give the offensive coaches some credit too, because we kiss a lot of butt on that defensive side.
We have,
and they deserve it. But I will say this though, I'm seeing little wrinkles of creativity. I'm seeing little things that make me go, Oh, okay. Somebody's actually watching some tape over
Sure.
there, you know?
I think Shoddy deserves some love. I mean, we heard about the defensive guys because that's who he worked
How
with
about
more
Mike
last
Solari?
year.
We were worried about the offensive line looking like a bag of ass.
And you could argue that depth-wise, the linemen that have had to come in and play, Edoga, Bass today, Richards came in late in that game. They've been more ready to play, and you saw the improvement with guys like Bass and Richards throughout the entire preseason, every single game. And Mike Solari does deserve a lot of praise for that. I'm 100% with you in agreement. Okay, 877-881-1053. We want to continue to hear from you.
Is there somebody on there from New Mexico? Do we got anybody from New Mexico today?
I'll look and see if we got a New Mexico caller. We might not right now.
Got my guy from Albuquerque, right?
We don't have the Albuquerque guy on hold. No, we don't. So if you're listening, give us a call. Brian wants to hear from you. We also got to hear from Chris Arnold with Malik Hooker. We got Chris Arnold with Tyler Broaddus. That's Tyler Broaddus for you, sir. A lot more audio to get to, plus your thoughts as we celebrate in the Miller Lite Club a 30-10, 2-0 start. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
You can trust your car to the place with the star. With tech running your engine, enjoy your hobbies near and far. Fill your car with all your friends and love the time you spend. So trust your car to the Texaco Star.
When you fill up with Texaco with TechRun, you get unbeatable mileage to help fuel what you love to do. Download the Texaco app to find a station near you.
Hey Cowboys fans, it's time to get ready for tailgate season with an official Dallas Cowboys license plate from myplates.com. Join the many thousands of fans already driving around with Cowboys pride on their ride. It's a must-have for any die-hard Cowboys fan. My Plates is also the one-stop shop for all specialty plates in Texas, with over 500 designs to choose from. With Cowboys plates starting from only $50, what are you waiting for? Visit myplates.com today. That's myplates.com.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Becky Hammon on being the first woman to coach in the NBA.
What if it's no big deal that I'm a woman? What if it's about striving for excellence and being the best me without the label?
It's not about where others say you should be. It's about where you want to go. It's about a financial services company that focuses on your measures of success. Whether it's for your home or business, we offer personalized service and expert advice to help you achieve your unique goals.
Visit swbc.com for financial services without the labels.
RJ Chop here, my friends at Hey Number One Air, proud part of the Dallas Cowboys. Do not miss the Super Summer Savings Special. Up to $3,000 off a new heated and AC system. Payments as low as $79 a month. They never charge overtime, not on weekends, not on holidays, not for after hours. Up to $3,000 off a new heated and AC system. Payments as low as $79 a month. 1-800-NEW-COOL. 1-800-NEW-COOL or ANumber1Air.com.
Some restrictions apply.
Bell Nunnally has been committed to serving their clients for more than 4 decades. This Dallas-based full-service law firm offers an extensive array of legal services, including championship-level commercial litigation, mergers and acquisitions, real estate, intellectual property, and white-collar criminal defense practices. Whether it's the clients they serve, the cases they win, the people they hire, or the community they build, Bell Nunnally is behind every great company. Go to bellnunnally.com to learn more.
So, my buds and I are at Buffalo Wild Wings for game day Sunday, and there is football everywhere, except when I blink. I once missed a game-winning TD because of a blink. Been wanting to turn the inside of my eyelids into a B-dubs ever since. You know, wall-to-wall TVs, hot wings, bartender serving me beers, all in my own eyelids. But insurance won't cover it, so I gotta come up with the cash. Well, at least they're still the real Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
Please drink responsibly.
Tom Thumb's new Drive Up and Go service makes grocery shopping easy and convenient for anyone.
25 pounds of ground chuck, 15 bags of hamburger buns, 28 bags of Tostitos, 10 packs of Pepsi, and some barbecue tongs.
You pick the time, you drive up, and go.
With Tom Thumb's Drive Up and Go, anyone has time in their schedule to go grocery shopping. Just a few clicks away, and you can feed your team.
Everyone can be a grocery Pro Bowler with Tom Thumb's Drive Up and Go. Download the app or try an online order to get started today.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL at a high level, I relied on my vision to see the field. As I started getting older, I noticed my vision wasn't as good, and I was getting frustrated from wearing my glasses all day. I went to Laser Care Eye Center, and Dr. G talked about all the options. Thanks to technology and Laser Care Eye Center, I can see near, far, and between. Don't fumble your vision any longer. Visit them at dfweyes.com and tell them Darren sent you. They got me back on my game.
Up at the Jets 39. Now he's under center. First down with Cook, the running back. A toss.
the division as a whole is going to be very tough. I do. Yes. I don't feel like – I know the Giants, okay, we'll see what happens. I don't know what happened to Saquon Barkley. All I know, there was like 7 guys carrying him off the field today. And I don't know if all of a sudden we're hearing that Barkley has wrecked his knee again. He's got ankle problems. I don't know where that is going. But for them to come back is down. They look dead today.
They did.
But I think overall this division is going to be very, very difficult. And maybe the team that wins it might have 11 wins.
Sure.
I think there's going to be a point in time where we start seeing like teams kind of beating up on each other.
Yeah, they could. They could kind of just eat each other alive. But you're right. I mean, Washington, the start they've had, they got Chase Young back, their former second
quarterback
overall
looks
pick.
okay, and I'm not just saying that because I like the kid.
You were a Sam Howell guy?
That was my guy. Sam Howell was my guy, and
I
think the Commanders honestly are a quarterback away from being a very, 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 very competitive team.
You look at their skill players. Terry McLaurin
Defense.
had an outstanding catch today in traffic. Yeah, and to my point, Chase Young, his first game back, sack and a half today.
Yeah, there you go.
Instantly made a difference. You
brought
brought
up Sean Payton. What's he doing in Denver right now?
My gosh. You bring up Barkley. The report from Barkley, his ankle, he had x-rays on it. They came back negative.
Okay, there you go.
So he's
Maybe
going to
caught
have
a break.
an MRI tomorrow. Team believes he didn't suffer a serious injury, but the MRI will be its final confirmation. They think it's just going to be an ankle sprain, so they might have dodged a big bullet there with their star running back.
Ankle injury on a grass field, right?
Yeah, grass there. That's grass there out there in Arizona. Cowboys will be playing out there next week. 877-881-1053, the number to call, the number to text here on the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys. Let's head back out to the phones. William in Waco has been waiting a while. William, thank you for your patience, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, thank you. It's kind of a statement and a question for Bryan.
Okay.
Okay, I agree with you with the pace and how the offense is moving.
Okay.
And the timing. But and the question is, in the red zone, do you feel like they're not as aggressive as they should be?
That's a good question because I know Zach leaned over to me, or it might have been KG, it might have been Kevin Gray, and he says, do you feel like that they're not doing enough in the red zone? I'm not going to – coaches will always say, I need to watch the all-22. But in this case, I just felt like watching the game that it was a little bit of a simplistic but Brad's play of the handoff,
that was a little bit.
That was trying to be a little creative.
I kind of leaned with you on that. I think that's a play that can work, to Brad's point. But in the moment, I kind of felt the same. Like that seemed a little too cute for me.
I didn't feel like that they got enough. And the Jets are a good red zone defensive team.
They are, and they've got some speed.
They got speed, and they've got the front. Now Dallas is driving the ball, and they get down the red zone. I don't know if Mike drew up some of his best down there. I didn't feel like that there was. One time though they had an opportunity. The ball, I think they handed the ball to Pollard. He got like 6 yards, and then they got a holding penalty on Tyron Smith. That took it back. So they're going to have first and goal on the one with probably and then I think they ended up they got sacked and they had to kick a field goal out of that or something like that. What happened, but I'm kind of feeling like, though, were they the most creative in the red zone? I think execution, creativity, or lack of, maybe both.
And I think to CeeDee Lamb's comments, they definitely didn't show everything. They're definitely still holding some stuff back. They didn't feel like they needed to. So I think that they did. They'll look back at the tape. I mean, I know that's coach speak.
That is. I don't want to say, but sitting in our press box seat, right?
Yeah.
Sitting in our press box seat, you're like, okay, they just handed the ball straight ahead
right.
here.
It was a little vanilla.
For 2 yards. What are we doing here?
Absolutely.
Kind of
okay. No question there. I agree with what you're saying. I do think they left a little bit of the meat on the bone, and maybe we'll see some more as the season develops. So let's go out to Frisco.
I hope so.
They better damn well show it.
Yeah.
Let's head out to Frisco. We got Jeff, who's been waiting patiently. Jeff, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I had a question. This kind of goes into the theme of short yardage in the red zone, and it's a twist on what Philadelphia does, and I wanted to see what y'all thought about it. So Philadelphia does that scrum and where they put in
push
and put a Yeah, right. So Dallas has a fullback, all right? So
they used him tonight a couple of times, yeah.
What if you use, though, the fullback as your quarterback and brought in nose tackles off the defense and just push forward?
Yeah, I could see, if you get down I mean, what was it, Blake Bell?
Yeah.
There were a couple of times where Kansas City, Blake Bell would come in motion and stop, and then he gets under center.
Right.
And they just blast straight ahead. To me, I'm okay with using the fullback. I want Dak handling the ball.
I agree. And I think that Dak is a big-bodied quarterback to where it would work just as well as it works for Philly. Like, I get the lower body, the lower half. Jalen Hurts is a freak show.
Yeah.
But Dak is also a big, burly quarterback.
Yeah.
That can, we saw today the sneak.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson didn't know what the hell he was doing.
No.
Cowboys snuff it out.
They did. They absolutely did. You're right about
Dak
that.
did run a sneak, and he gets
Got
the
2
first
yards,
down easily.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think they could do a similar technique, to your point, without subbing out Lipke for Dak. You leave Dak in there.
If you want to run the ball and put Hunter Lipke in there at fullback, I'm okay. As long as the complements of tight ends are in there, too.
Yeah.
Because those guys are doing a pretty darn good job.
Well,
but
you mentioned the Hendershot play. I don't think Lipke sealed the edge, and that's why it didn't work.
It's not to the point of if they were having problems on first and goal at the 1, and they tried 3-4 times and they got stuffed a couple of times, I would entertain anything you're thinking about. But I think it's a little bit more than that right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more than just shuffling out personnel and bringing in Refrigerator Perry to, or whatever. I think it's a little bit more
they used to do with Dontari Pose.
Yeah,
throwing a pass now.
Yeah,
no doubt.
pass, yeah.
All right, here's big Mozzie Smith. Yeah. Let's go. All right, we got Cole in Sioux Falls. Cole, what's going on? Oh, Cole's gone. It's okay. All right, let's head out to Robert. Robert, you're on the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys.
How you guys doing tonight?
Excellent.
After a great Cowboys win. So, 2 things real quick. One, I don't know if you guys remember me from last week. Talked about how this offense can't finish drives and we can't go to the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Well, not only can they, double down on that process, they can't score in the red zone. But now they've added another factor where our defense will take away the ball, give the offense a chance to go run up this score and, leave no. And they don't move anywhere in 3 plays. And they just give the right back, and the defense got to time at it.
Okay, your biggest problem is with the Cowboy play caller, quarterback. Who you saying they can't do anything? Who are you saying?
That's the thing is it's Dak. I mean the
okay.
Play
Can I ask you another question? Can I ask you one question, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, boss. Are you just not a fan of Dak? Are you calling just because you're calling because you don't like Dak?
I just think.
Be honest with me. If you don't like Dak, tell me. Tell me if you don't think he's our quarterback. Take that angle, but don't try and say, well, we're not doing this and not doing that. If you don't like the quarterback, be honest with me and tell me you don't like the quarterback.
I'm going to be honest with you and tell you I don't like the quarterback, but there's got to be something said that he can't see open receivers.
Okay.
When he has all day to throw. He had a great O-line today, and he had all time to throw, and he still couldn't find open receivers.
But he had 13 in a row to start the game. And then I told you he finished the game with 7. The pick, he could have had a pick 6. That could have been a problem right there. But I felt like that he had command of the game. And trust me, I know in our shows we're critical of Dak too.
Sure.
But now that I know that you don't like Dak, I'm trying to figure out, though, what your angle's here, what your angle is.
So, compliment to Dak. I mean, that dude started off that game great, but it was a flash in the pan. He won't do it consistently. And also, imagine how much our score would have been had he actually scored those drives and led us to the end zone.
See, but that's what I'm saying. To me, I felt like that maybe they got a little too conservative with the play calling.
I think there's one specific play, and it's the miss to an open Jake Ferguson. And if you look on the opposite side, CeeDee Lamb was also open. If you want to say that one play specifically as your example, I would agree with you. Otherwise, I don't think you can just say it's solely on Dak, right, for the red zone flaws.
Yeah, if you again, you don't like the quarterback, so you don't think no matter what they do that it's going to be good enough, right? I mean, it's just not going to be good enough with you, right?
Not with what we're paying him, no.
Okay, take that out of it then. So you just absolutely do not like the quarterback. You don't think he could do anything for us. You don't think he could lead us to the Super Bowl. There's people in your world that live the same way you think.
There's a lot of people that
There's a lot of people that think the same way, and there's people that absolutely love this quarterback. I think right now with this coach, I think the coach and the play call, I think the coach, the play caller, and Dak, I think they're on the same page on a lot of things.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, Robert. I think the consistency, I think, is probably my biggest criticism with Dak. There's 1 week he looks tremendous. There's another week he does not look good. So the consistency, I think, is a fair point. But today, CeeDee Lamb had 10 catches for a career-high 130 yards against zone coverage. Dak found him open. I mean, today I don't think was a day to be like Dak was terrible. I get being frustrated with the red zone execution and settling.
No, he just hates the quarterback. He took an opportunity to come on the show, and that's cool. I really, hey,
you're a voice for, I think, a
no. There's a lot of people
base
that think the same way. He had the balls to call in and say that he doesn't like the quarterback.
I appreciate Robert being honest.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a safe space here on the Postgame show always. Okay, we've got more Postgame locker room audio to get to. We've got more of your calls. I know everyone's lining up as we speak, 877-881-1053. We'll get to you momentarily. We'll also hear from your center, Tyler Broaddus. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Cowboys Nation.
Micah Parsons, second of the year, first of the day.
Yeah, big sack on a third down there early in this one. As
First drive.
Yeah, as Brad mentioned, his first sack of 2 that he ended up having today. That is our defensive stop of the game, brought to you by Reliant and NRG Company.
Do you have a beard bet on this thing?
I didn't do one this year, but I'm happy to do it. I mean, I'm telling you, over 15.5 is going to hit again.
Yeah. If you haven't out there, we like I say, we do a show that 105.3 The Fan. We come out there and
flagship.
We do a lot of bet
Locally,
payoffs.
we do.
Local.
We do. And
so
earlier,
we have bet payoffs and stuff.
Shout out to our caller Big Jim mentioned Tolo. Turn it on, leave it on.
Yeah.
For those of you on the network, that is the flagship 105.3 The Fan. You can catch myself, Zach Wolchuk, and Bryan Broaddus, the Super Bowl winning scout, 2 to 7 weekdays on the G-Bag Nation. But my gosh, Micah just continues to impress. And I'm sure that he will all year long as he looks for his first ever Defensive Player of the Year award.
I love the fact how Dan's got him locked in. Physically, he's locked in. Mentally, he's locked in. Man, he's playing with a lot of speed. He's playing with a lot of power. How many times today did he take Dwayne Brown inside? It's like he said, okay, big fella, you're going to worry about me going to your shoulder. And he kept, and Brown is like kicks to width, which means he's going outside. And Parsons says, big fella, when that weight transfers from that right foot to that left foot, I'm taking this train back inside. And I'll tell you, in his first sack, go back and watch what Osa Odighizuwa did to the center guard combination, Laken Tomlinson, and watch what he did to him and how far back he knocked him. And that allowed Parsons just, you couldn't have drawn it up any better or practiced it with the penetration and then the ability for Parsons to come right behind it. And it's like Wilson never saw it. It's like when you're sometimes in a blind spot and you're driving and all of a sudden a car pulls out.
Boom, he's there.
Boom, he's there. That's exactly what Micah and Osa and those guys were dealing with in this game.
In Osa, I mean, he just gets better every week.
That is a guy.
Yeah.
That people are going to around the league start to say, hey, you start to talk about these defensive tackles. Osa Odighizuwa, and probably people won't talk about him because nobody can pronounce his name. Everybody gets scared about the name. But he is going to be a guy that I guarantee you on national circles, when they start to break down Cowboy defense, his name is going to start to be mentioned as that type of player.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Now we're getting some questions about Sharif Floyd, Cowboys defensive line coach.
I tried to do a little digging on that, and I really couldn't carry much on it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the last that I heard, Sharif Floyd did faint on the sideline.
I thought he got hit.
I wasn't sure what happened.
It was during the fumble return.
Yeah, Tracy Wolfson reported that he fainted.
Okay.
Mike McCarthy, postgame, was asked about it, said he was taken to a local hospital. That's really all that we know as of now, but the information that they're getting so far is positive. Yeah. So hopefully nothing serious with Sharif Floyd, who's one of the best guys you can ever talk football with. We had the pleasure during the draft show.
He came in and was so honest and
amazing,
fun, and he was telling us about, hey, these defensive linemen, this is what you look for and all that. Just a quality human being.
He really
is.
So hopefully nothing serious there, and we can get Sharif Floyd
Keep him
back
in your
on
thoughts
the
out there.
Absolutely,
Cowboy
thoughts and
Nation.
prayers.
Keep him in your thoughts.
100%. Speaking of linemen, let's go to your center, Tyler Broaddus. Again, Johnny on the spot. Big-time fumble recovery.
2 helmet stickers.
Play.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, 20 to 30 yards downfield, but he caught up with our very own Chris Arnold.
Tyler Broaddus, great win against the Jets. Can you talk about how you guys were playing that complementary football, the balance with the running game and the passing game?
Yeah, I think I think that's always what you strive for. I mean, obviously, the complementary football is the best part of football, and when you're hitting on all cylinders, and I think our defense did a hell of a job, and we got to be better in the rest. Obviously, we want more touchdowns and field goals in the red zone, but at the same time, points are points, and we stayed poised, and we stuck with our neutral mindset throughout the game, and continue to go. I mean, sometimes games aren't always like the way you go, and we got to be able to adjust and play the next play. And I thought we did a hell of a job in that respect.
Speaking of hell of a job, let's talk about one of the biggest plays in the game. CD catches a pass down the field, and then you're running down there to block, I guess, or whatever you want to do, and you recover the fumble. Can you talk about that play and what you were thinking at the time, because it turned out to be a huge play?
Yeah, I think you always want to, our wide receivers and our running backs and skill positions are very explosive, and I think the benefit of that is that we get to block longer, and whether that is through the pass or run or covering the ball and finishing the play, whether that's pushing him for more yards or covering the ball, and in case, because at the same time, and as fast as he's running, there's a lot of different angles that defenders are coming at him, and some might surprise him here and there, but at the same time, we do a good job of McCarthy, as he does a great job, and Coach Solari and all our coaches in general, Shadi, all our offensive coaches and the staff does a great job of talking to us about covering the ball, because the ball is the most important thing on the field in that regard. But just in general about hustle play and picking a guy up. At the end of the day, if we cover the ball, and obviously, God forbid he does fumble the ball, you're there. But at the same time, we always want to help our guys up. You're saving, things 20% of their energy by just picking them up. So it's we do a great job of emphasizing that throughout the week, and we bring it to life on Sundays for sure.
Well, congratulations on the victory, and thanks again.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Shout out to CA for getting that with Tyler Broaddus. Outstanding job by him, no question. All right, Bryan, why don't you throw it to ID?
What is it? Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Football Network?
Radio Network.
Radio Network.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Not just a Super Bowl winning scout, that Bryan Broaddus, but a damn good radio host, huh?
Cowboys Radio Network.
Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Crushing it, my guy. You really are.
Appreciate you.
Always a pleasure to be doing this with you.
Yeah. We're on a little run right now,
We're
right?
on a run. We're going. We haven't, honestly, we haven't done a post-game show at AT&T Stadium after a loss together.
That's true.
We've got 9 straight victories.
Took us getting rid of Ari Temkin to make this thing happen, huh?
That Ari. Meanwhile, Ari's sitting there watching Chicago Bear football, and Matt
stressing right now.
3-14 is their head coach.
Stressing so bad.
I can't believe somebody would have thought that the Bears could have won the NFC North this year. I don't know who that could have been, but that guy's a schmuck.
Well, my Detroit Lions took an L today.
They did, and I'm referring to myself. That was a terrible prediction, and I'm already willing to put the Bears in the ground here.
Yeah,
I think that was wrong. All right, let's go back out to the phones. Walt in Waco. Walt, how you doing? You're on the official postgame show, your Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, man, I'm doing great. I stopped by and said hi to Broaddus earlier, and my son decided it was best if I walked away. But it is what it is. But, no, I kind of had a question real quick. So, I was at the game, and it's different watching it live. And I saw exactly what you guys told me to expect this year from Mike McCarthy as far as, his very, very conservative play calling, right? But my question is, kind of twofold. Are the Jets a good team, and did we beat a good team by the amount that we did, or should we have blown them out by 40? Because my son, about in the third quarter, said we should have 40 by now because Kellen Moore was calling plays.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, Kellen Moore's 0-2 right now, I think.
I don't think Kellen Moore calling the plays would have helped that. I do think you could have beaten the Jets by more.
I don't think McCarthy is conservative. I mean, down in the red zone, yes, there were some things that weren't. But he tried to hand the ball.
Shots.
Yeah, they tried to. You said with the thing with Dak, if you want to nitpick Dak a little bit today. He misses the tight end. Was it
the Ferguson?
The Ferguson
play.
I mean, Ferguson is open. He just puts too much air under it.
Yeah.
Or to try and throw it too far. I mean, as soon as it left the hand, I'm like, it's too far. But I just feel like today it was. I think there's something to Mike where he's trying to make this a tougher team. I mean, and a tougher defense. You get down in the red zone. You're playing against a team that's got a pretty good red zone defense. Now, we're into week 2, but history will tell you this Jet defense is pretty good down there. So what happens is Mike's like, we're going to just hammer this in. We're going to run it in. We're going to, and so you kind of take the approach of, okay, I'm going to just keep running the football and find ways to make my team tougher.
Right.
To make my offense tougher.
And play to your strength, which is your defense. And the last thing you want to do is turn the football over.
This is the problem. This is the problem with. And it happens because of Tony Pollard. When you had Ezekiel Elliott, it was hand him the ball, and everything's going forward, and it looks like it's some physicality to it. You're right, but with Tony, it's a little bit more pick, choose, slide, go. Kind of it's not a powerful looking, but I think that we're all wanting to do it. Trust me. If we remember when we were watching the 2-point plays when they were working against the first team defense in Oxnard,
the mojo moment.
It was 5 plays.
Yeah. Yes.
5 2-point plays. Offense scored every single play against that Dallas defense.
All
and
passes.
really all passes.
All passes.
All passes. It was bring Cooks in motion. Pick. Ferguson releases. Boom. Nobody covers
Cooks was a vital piece to all the plays that they ran, and you didn't have him today.
Yeah. See, but to me, that's where I'm like, whoa, I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
It was always hand the ball to Zeke, hand the ball to Zeke, hand the ball to Zeke here. So I think, yes, I think you beat a good team. I think you're a good team.
Right.
I think you're a good team. I think teams now around the league, or people around the league, when all these shows start to talk about the Cowboys, it is you better put some respect on their name for the way that they handled the Jets today.
They are on the short list of the best teams in football. I mean, it's the Cowboys. It is the 49ers. You can throw the Eagles in there as reigning NFC champs. I think everybody still has a lot of respect for the Chiefs.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, but I think those 4. Right. Because Baltimore is a team that maybe you should start recognizing a little bit with what they were able to do to the Bengals today. But the Cowboys, I think, should be in the top 3 of everybody's power rankings. If you don't want to put them ahead of the Eagles just yet, fine. If you don't want to put ahead of them of the 49ers just yet, but they're right at the top of the best teams in the NFL through 2 weeks.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, we will get to more of your calls. We will also hear from Malik Hooker. And how about Schoonmaker? Scooney with his first ever touchdown.
Go Blue.
Caught up with Chris Arnold. Absolutely. We'll do that, and we'll put a bow on this thing. Look ahead to the Cardinals, Dallas Cowboys football. We'll continue in a moment.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL,
Be the official airline of your Dallas Cowboys. And by Ford, your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
All right, Prescott is under center on 1st and 12 at his own 3. Back to throw it out of the end zone. Slant to Lamb. First down, 20. Broke a tackle, 25. Broke another 30. 34, ball came out, and Broaddus down the field again to recover the fumble.
CeeDee Lamb, what a game it was for him today as he reached a career high in catches with 11, tying that 143 yards as well. 11 catches on 13 targets, averaging 13 yards a catch. He was incredible today. He is our player of the game, and that is brought to you by Jack Black, Brian. You want to use what the pros use?
Absolutely.
Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Brian Broaddus. It's been a blast here in the Miller Lite Club. After a 30-10 Cowboys victory, they improved to 2-0. They've outscored their opponents 70-10. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals, who allowed it seemed like 28 unanswered points to the Giants today. Giants
had that game in hand, it seemed, huh?
They did. I think it was 24 unanswered points. They were up 28-7. They end up losing 31-28. And that's a Josh Dobbs and James Conner and Arizona team that we'll have all week to preview. We saw Josh Dobbs at the end of last year against the Tennessee Titans. Dobbs didn't play badly against the Cowboys. So we'll have time. And weird things happen. Just my whole life being a Cowboy fan.
Gosh,
I hate going to play in
No,
Arizona.
it does. It does. It's always kind of been a little bit of a house of horrors. Did the Cowboys, have they won there recently? I mean, tell me about that.
That's a great question.
I just remember some times. I remember one time your punter broke a foot. I remember
McBriar in overtime.
I remember Romo. His hand it broke a bone in his hand.
John Skelton beat the Cowboys one game.
It was. It might have been. What was our quarterback? Stephen McGee.
Yes.
It might have been as far back as Stephen McGee. I don't know. Has Dak ever won? I'm asking. But let's as we break this down this week, it is going to be a very, very. And you're going to hear trap game. With New England coming in the following week. You just don't need to go to the desert and play poorly. You got it. There's only 17 of these. You can't just give away games. And if you go there and you're not on all cylinders on offense, you're struggling, man, that's the last thing you want to do is give the Arizona Cardinals any reason to stay around and being part of this game. Because it's very easy. When you watch the tape though, like I said, it's against the Giants, this week. So you'll be able to, as a player, you'll be able to say, okay, well, heck, we just played this team last week. I kind of know, okay, oh, wait, Giants are doing this to them. Oh, that, you kind of get a little bit of a gauge of how you need to play this game. But you can't go and lose to a team like this.
It looks like, and I think this was a Monday night game. 2017, Cowboys won 28-17 in Arizona. I think that was the game where Dez caught like a drag and then ran through about 3 or 4 Cardinals into the end zone. I believe that's the game that was.
What, 17?
17. So it was Dak.
It was Dak playing. Okay, good. Well, Dak has a good. And Dak has. Sometimes I just remember not always doing well at Arizona.
No, previously they had lost the previous 3 games.
Okay, I knew that.
And then the most recent one. Yeah. So I'd certainly not.
They lost a game here at AT&T where they just where Arizona just mauled them when that Kyler Murray was going up and down the field on them that day.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. So not an easy place to play, and no question about that. All right, we mentioned CD. We've talked a lot about Micah Parsons. What about Malik Hooker, who visited with Chris Arnold. Malik Hooker getting an interception, his first of the season. He caught up with CA postgame.
Malik Hooker, how big was this win for this team for you guys to continue what you started on the first game of the season against the Giants?
Every game's big, obviously a big game for us. We know we set the tempo where we want to go this season. And these past 2 weeks, we just been reiterating that, we taking it 1 week at a time and just focus on one game at a time. And, you said how it paid off for us today. We came out there, we executed. It's a little, up and down at the beginning, but, we ended up pulling it together offense and defensively. We ended up getting a big win.
Could you talk about the pressure that the D-line continues to put on the quarterback, which allows you guys in the secondary to do what you do?
Oh, man, there ain't enough praise for those guys, man. They're special down there. You can go from top to bottom. Obviously Micah, he's a impactful player. Everybody knows the type of player he is throughout the league. Man, he's a great one of the very few that can do what he does. And then, pretty much the other guys, they kind of fill in the same way. There's no drop off. I feel like in that room, everybody got their unique things that they do, and they all show out there. Obviously you seen Osa these past 2 weeks as well. Creating sacks and big plays for other guys out there. So I couldn't give them guys enough praise down there.
Is this DQ football? Because literally you guys always get takeaways, you always make big plays, you always get after the quarterback. Is this DQ football? Is this Dan Quinn drawing up and you guys? It's going just what he shows you in practice?
Absolutely. Obviously, you guys know he's the mastermind behind all this stuff that we do out there. Man, I can't give him enough praise as well. He draws up plays for, all the playmakers to be able to go out there and make plays as we do. And, we just execute them, and guys, when they get their opportunity to execute the plays, they capitalize on it. So I couldn't give DQ enough credit. Like I said, he's the one that stirs this train. We love him. We believe everything he says. We buy into everything he says, and that shows week in and week out.
Congratulations, Malik.
Appreciate you.
DQ stirring the train.
And
I believe it. Malik Hooker with a great interception. They've given Malik Hooker a lot of responsibility.
They have.
A lot of single high safety.
They have.
Last line of defense. And so far through 2 games, Malik Hooker's played very, very well.
Yeah, and, unfortunately, though, that we talked about, the play
Garrett
to
Wilson
Wilson.
play.
He was in position. If you make that play, it's probably right there. It's a nice game, but you're playing defense. You have a chance. He went low there, missed on the guy, but came back with the interception, though. He's played with a lot of range. That's something that they need him to do. And especially in this game, it was going to be about if the ball was going to go down the field, where was it going to go? Was it Garrett Wilson? I think, that he did a nice job of playing with his eyes, rallying to the football. It looked like to me that Diggs was beat by Wilson on the play, the one that he intercepted, and then Hooker saw it the whole way and was able to get there and make the play.
Final piece of locker room audio for you. The man who caught his first NFL touchdown, Luke Schoonmaker, the second-round pick out of Michigan. Let's hear from Scooney with CA.
Hey, let's talk about your touchdown, your first ever NFL touchdown. Talk about the play and how it developed.
Yeah, ran like a little mesh concept on the goal line. Just had to get across the ball and not get held up and get myself open. So, just had to be ready, and it was a crazy feeling.
As a group, you guys, the tight ends, basically say, okay, we're going to step this thing up because the first week you're trying to catch the ball on the range.
Yeah.
I think you guys, a couple of touchdowns, you and Jake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course the rain's the rain, but when we're in here and especially we're on our game today and really went in pretty confident to this game, just put in a lot of great work throughout the week and it showed. So happy for all the guys and on to the next one.
Can you talk about the complementary football? Because that's all Coach McCarthy talks about. He's talking about running the ball, passing the ball. It seemed like everything was clicking.
You said it. Everything just is really going together so well. We can answer in so many ways. We have so many weapons and both sides of the ball. It's so fun just to watch the defense go out there and do their thing. And they get a turnover or something, and we go out there, pound the ball, we pass the ball. Anything. It's so fun to be a part of.
And finally, the Jets are known to be a great defense. Did they show you anything that you didn't expect going in?
No, I think they stayed pretty true to it. Big line. They had some big guys on the line, but it was a physical battle, and proud of all the guys.
Congratulations, Luke.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go make it.
Thank you so much to Chris Arnold for all that locker room audio. Really him and Kevin Gray, of course, as well, getting in there with Jerry. And awesome always to get that audio. Luke Schoonmaker there with his first NFL touchdown. Hopefully the first of many for Scooney.
Mesh concept. There you go. There's something a little creative, right? Little mesh concept,
Yeah,
get
the
you
red
a crowd.
zone.
There we go, a little red zone. Yeah.
So, yeah, as we put a bow on this one, look ahead to next week, I think offensively, you look at the red zone, you watch the tape,
questions,
you went up against a really good red zone defense. You didn't have Brandon Cooks. We talked about the mojo moments in camp. He was a big part of some of the success that they have. Hopefully you get Cooks back. Hopefully Tyler Smith can play, which can add to the offense as well. Defensively, though, you stop the run really, really well. You're going to play against another mobile quarterback next week in Dobbs. They've got a good runner in James Conner as well. You got to carry that over to success. And Micah Parsons is the ultimate game record.
Oh, he is, and that's. But you can't be overconfident. Look at the film the last couple of weeks. Look at your the packages and stuff. Have a game plan. Coaches will put something really nice together. Maybe Bones Fossil will come up with a little creative thing. Cowboys got on the short end of a fake punt tonight.
They
so
did.
that second time it was 4th and 1. That defense stayed. They went punt stay on that time, and so. Hey, if you're one of those guys that's on the punt return and it's 4th down, that was a good teaching moment for you right there. Not to be asleep and think that because they're at their end of the field that they're going to not fake the ball. You got to be ready all the time.
Cowboys got the win 30-10. They improved to 2-0. They've also won 9 straight now here at AT&T Stadium. Around the league, Dolphins are leading the Patriots 17-3 as they play late in the third quarter. Dolphins looking to improve to a 2-0 start.
Both of them on the road too.
Yes,
much like San Francisco.
Within the division, Bills there won 38-10. They improved to 1-1. Jets obviously fell to 1-1 with a loss. The Patriots would fall to 0-2. In the NFC East, we know the Eagles got the win Thursday night. We talked about it. Commanders rally. They beat the Broncos 35-33 in a shootout. Brian Robinson, the running back, had a couple of touchdowns. Marvin Mims, Frisco Lone Star product, had a great game. And then the Giants rallying to beat the Cardinals, the Cowboys' next opponent. Cardinals fall to 0-2. Giants get a 31-28 win. Daniel Jones apparently sensational in that second half, finishing with 321 yards, a couple of touchdowns and an interception. Colts beat the Texans 31-20, and the 49ers knocked off the Rams 30-23. Bad beat there as the Rams kicked the field goal. So those of you that are interested in that, that didn't help you. Chiefs beat the Jags 17-9. Bucks improved to 2-0. They win 27-17 over the Bears. Titans over the Chargers 27-24 overtime. Seahawks over the Lions, and the Ravens beat the Bengals. So there's just kind of a quick look around the National Football League with your scores. Thank you so much to everybody who watches on Twitch, on YouTube. We love you. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. Of course, Peyton Russell, Ross, Jeff back in studio, Ruben, Gavin Spittle, Tim Collins for my partner, Bryan Broaddus as well. We love being a part of this thing with you. Cowboys looking to make it 3-0. We'll be back same time next week. It'll be at 12:30 pregame. Postgame will be until 9:30 as well, as the Cowboys are on the road in Arizona looking for a 3-0 start. That should be a lot of fun. So until next week, for myself, Zach Wolchuk, for the Super Bowl winning scout, Bryan Broaddus, we'll catch you then. Hugs and hand pounds, everybody. And you're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
ProStar Energy Solutions.